One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back. Have you ever listened to Reverend Freakchild?
Out of a heart?
That you got at Electric Fish Lights?
Shit. You're gonna.
Darwin's gonna snore.
Yeah. Darwin is cutting some logs over here.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
You guys, check
He's
this
bored
out.
with us.
Go to electricfishlights.com. And what you're going to find are these magnificent, spectacular, and stupendous lights made from a thing called IQ technology, which stands for...
Interlocking quadrilaterals.
It is 30 interlocking pieces that can be configured into 15 different shapes, 15 different flapes. And when you put those flapes together, it's endless what they can build for you. I'm telling you
like
right
that
now.
heart that we were just talking about.
Or a skull.
Or a fish.
And each light comes with a 12-year energy-efficient, safe-to-leave-on bulb, a 12-foot cord, and a hardware kit to hang the light. And you know what? They even have color-changing bulbs and Bluetooth speaker bulbs.
Dang.
You mean music
So you
comes
can
out of it?
Turn on the
Yes.
light, listen to music and disco at the same
So
time.
if you got a heart-shaped one, when you turned it on, you would have a heart on. You
Wow.
would. Do you want to have a heart on? Go to @electricfishlights.com, check it out, or go to @electricfishlights on Instagram, and when you're checking out, put in the promo code
NSR.
Yeah, that's right, NSR, and you're going to get
10% off.
and any NSR family member that orders the color-changing upgrade
Is going to get a bitchin' limited edition poster that is collaborated by our conductor and John over at Electric Fish Lights. And this thing, there's different colors, but it doesn't matter which one you get because once this light hits it, it comes to life and it
Sure
dances
does.
all over your wall as well as all of your other things hanging on the wall.
Yeah, man. So electricfishlights.com, promo code
NSR for 10% off.
And tell
Enlighten
them
yourself.
we sent you.
Hey there.
Hey, Mel.
One of our awesome, proud sponsors is
Shop Tour Bus.
Shop Tour
And
Bus.
they sell t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, amongst other merchandise for Grateful Dead fans.
Fans.
Yeah.
That's the
And
word.
it is the word. And it comes to you in a distinct, one-of-a-kind, awesome box.
Yep. And that box is filled with all kinds of goodies and trinkets and fun stuff that you won't know what they are until it gets there. And
It's full of love and intention.
Well, you also may be the proud person that gets the bootleg.
the Miracle Bootleg.
The Miracle Bootleg.
Grateful Dead bootleg cassette tape coming to some of you that order. And when you put in the promo code No Simple Road, all one word when you check out,
What happens?
the folks over at Shop Tour Bus are going to give you free shipping.
Free shipping.
So that hand designed box, that badass Grateful Dead inspired merch is going to come to you for free shipping.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
a beautiful
yeah,
thing.
Do yourself a fun little thing and order a cool box, cool t-shirt, and put in the promo code.
Promo
Promo
code.
code.
The promo code, the promo code,
No Simple Road.
and it will come to you for free.
And
Check
you're
that
going to
out.
look fresh at the shows coming up. Hey,
What's up, Apple?
we have another fine sponsor in Define Premium Cannabis. We have a location in Hillsboro and Forest Grove up here in the Portland area. So if you are looking to get loose, get medicated,
Get groovy.
get comfortable, get groovy, whatever you want to do, come on out to Define. We will help you. We will take our time. We will educate you. There's so many new products. We're there for you. If you come to Hillsboro, I am there Monday through Friday.
And if you go in there during business hours, Monday through Friday, Apple will come out of the back dressed like a 1980s punk rocker with a mohawk, and he'll smash the case with his combat boot and find you the perfect cannabis product.
Yes, this might happen. So if you come on out, you make sure either location, say that you are a listener to No Simple Road, you will get 10% off your purchase and a free t-shirt on your
What?
first visit.
That's pretty dope.
So make sure
Free
if you come back
t-shirt.
again to mention you're a listener because you get that 10% every time. So come on out to Define and get dope.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for Season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
Dang, that's cold-blooded, bro. Why you
Yeah.
gotta be like that?
Because you, I don't know.
Still the last remnants of his birthday month.
Yeah.
He can be
Hey
a little
now.
feisty.
I'm
No
an
Simple Road
antagonist.
family. Welcome to Apple antagonizing me.
Yeah, it's boss level. I'm
Apple's
like the
antagonizing Aaron.
Wow.
It's all about
Any
that
time of
defense.
the day.
What the hell is going on around here? Man.
Look, we're all a little punchy. We
Yeah.
had a
Why?
celebration yesterday, and we're a little exhausted from it.
Wasn't the celebration.
Well, it was that
It was
with
too a
waking up
celebration.
early
That.
and working all day,
Yeah.
and now I need a nap.
Oh, today being tired also
Yeah.
on top of okay.
You know
Yeah.
what you guys should
I
do?
thought he said yesterday was a celebration.
You guys, you know what you should do?
What?
Listen to Reverend Freakchild.
Woo woo!
I
Because
do.
Reverend Freakchild is our guest today on No Simple Road. Everybody,
What?
Dang, dang, dang!
The good Reverend
Heck
came
yeah.
and spent some time with the No Simple Road crew a few weeks ago.
Well,
And-
this was back in March.
yeah, a few weeks ago. That's
Okay.
Aaron time.
It's Aaron
All right.
time,
Okay.
Mel. Jeez,
Okay,
why are
sorry.
you letting them all behind the curtain? This just happened yesterday, actually. And,
You're hearing this live. Wow.
anyway, thank you, Rev, for coming on the show. It was an
Yes.
honor and a pleasure to meet you, man. And for
And
all
thanks for
of
the
you,
goodie bag. You sent us so much awesome stuff. An album, a t-shirt, stickers, all kinds of fun goodies.
we did a little swappy swap,
That's perfect.
tradey trade.
It was great.
Trade. And this was great. This was the video backdrop that was
Yeah, he's got it.
dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna post some snippets of this, and part of the episode will also be up on the No Simple Road YouTube channel, which is also taking off by leaps and bounds.
Leaps and bounds.
Our star is shooting through the sky on YouTube.
Ooh.
Yes, it is.
If you want to see me twirl my curls on YouTube, just log in.
You know that whole YouTube thing is a
And I'll
trip.
flip my locks.
I'll stroke my beard.
Okay.
How about that?
Twirl the
Hey,
curls, flip the
we
locks.
probably do all these
strip
things.
the
I'm
beard.
not
You could see me drink water and get uncomfortable. You could hear Darwin.
Hear me kick Darwin.
Aaron give me dirty looks when I drink my tea,
Yeah.
like my eyes.
fucking
I've gotten
tea,
way
man.
better at that, though.
No, yeah, you have. I haven't dirty looked you in a while.
Yeah. Well, you have, but not for that.
Not for that.
No.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of dirty looks, I'm going to take some tea. right now.
welcome to the show, everybody. We're glad you're back to hang out. Apple, really?
I just had to fuck with Mel. She's like, let me have a little sip of my tea. Oh,
Yeah. Welcome back. This is what you get. No, you know what?
What you see is what you get. And
Reverend-
you ain't seeing shit.
Reverend
Sorry.
Freakchild was super fucking fun to talk to, man. And it's a trip to meet somebody that has had the experiences that he's had with sobriety and the Grateful Dead and music, all that rolled into one. It made for a super interesting conversation. But, you know how we do over here. This is how we roll. We're not there yet. We're at the beginning. You have to hang on. So
find out how things be.
Yeah,
What's
this
going
is-
on.
this is
what may be coming up.
What
That's
is
right.
coming up, Apple?
Well, what's coming up is this weekend
That's
coming
right.
up.
Oh,
Yeah, we got
could
Jeff
take a little time
Firewalker
to talk
Schmidt
about
coming
that.
on over.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to tell everybody why I'm excited about
They
Jeff.
don't even know what you're excited about.
I'm going to tell them what we're excited about.
Okay.
We are all mutually excited about this weekend, this coming up weekend, which is June 4th, 5th, and 6th. We are going to have a special guest in our home from Asheville, North Carolina, and he is going to be hosting a workshop called Sovereignty and the Warrior's Path: Opportunities in the Time of COVID-19. And this is going to be an in-person and Zoom workshop where you can participate, ask questions on Zoom, or if you are one of the lucky few that were able to get into our house, we're going to have a cute little setup and have a fantastic conversation surrounding everything that's kind of been going on in the last couple of years. A lot of his fantastic knowledge from his I don't even know. He's got so much knowledge. I don't even know where he's gathered it all from, you know?
Here, let me break this down.
Yeah, break it. What I just did break it down.
No, there's more breaking to be done.
Well, I broke some of it down.
So if you want to learn internal energy processes for grounding and clarity, if you want to learn ways to release fear from your body, methods to access more energy, techniques for connecting to the earth and achieving insight and connection, if you want to hear about native and mystery school understanding of this time period of planetary evolution, and you want to hear some prophecies from numerous ancient cultures about this time, this is the class that you should sign up for, because this gentleman that's bringing this is a powerhouse of a human being.
Powerhouse.
You know, it's one of those things that, like, in my mind, with No Simple Road and the No Simple Road family, it's kind of like when we go to a show. I really want to see our family when we go to shows. Like, see the people that listen to the show and dance with them and high five and hug. And I really feel like that about this class, but not in the same way. Like, I know that there's some amazing information and tools that are going to be laid down during this thing. And I really, really wish that our listening family would all be there with us. And it has nothing to do with money. It like, if you can't afford the class, hit me up at info@nosimpleroad.com. Say, hey, I want to go to the class. Can't afford it. That's all you got to say. Done.
Yeah, you
I'll
don't
send
gotta
you the
give
link for the
any
class.
Boom. You'll be there. You'll be covered.
The thing is if, knowing if you guys like the show and the content of what we have on, the guests, our conversations, this is in align with that. And the synchronicities that brought us with Jeff and him coming to Oregon to actually have this class in person is epic.
Yeah.
It has brought so much transformation in our house, and he hasn't even showed up yet.
Yeah. And I mean, I think everybody out there feels, at least in some ways, like they could do better, or be better equipped to like,
Yeah.
This is a fucking weird time that we're in, man. And there's a lot of uncertainty.
And uncertainty breeds fear. And one of those points that you were talking about is releasing fear from your body. Like, I mean, we don't talk about it too much, but a lot of the energy that happens in our bodies, sometimes they don't get dispelled. Sometimes we keep those energies in, like fear or anger or traumas and stuff like that. And he has gone above and beyond the schools to native tribes to find out all of these types of things to kind of get grounded and be with the earth and how to release things from your body. And I, for one, being an energy worker, am super excited about this. I think anybody who's a massage therapist, who's an esthetician, who is a hands-on healer would benefit immensely from this class.
I think if you're one of those people that has skin,
That's why I was going to say, I don't think there's anybody that can't benefit right now. I mean, in the last year and a half we've been through, there's been so much of that and pushed and instilled in people the fear.
Yeah, the fear. That's a big one.
Mistrust, fear, no matter if it's people, government, whatever, whatever's going on through this. There is pent up stuff, and it needs to be exercised.
Right, exactly. To be able to release that, or to be able to just have like tips to be able to do that. Maybe you can't do it in one session, but it's a practice. And maybe he does something that, or says something that just kind of dawns on you and turns on a light bulb. And like I said, ever since we've had him on the show, in the background of No Simple Road, there's been a lot of changes subtly because of what he's brought to our life.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I wish that for everybody else listening,
Right. And I remember like hearing Aubrey Marcus's podcast, and also Chris Dyer, like talking and doing his thing and talking about his shaman. This is my shaman, this, that, and the other. And I always like thought, that's weird. I wonder what it's like to have a shaman. And now this show has a shaman.
Sure does. We do.
I never even said that out loud, that like I wondered that, and it happened. Well,
I mean, I know I definitely, I don't know about wondered, but I always wanted, I don't want to say secretly, but like a mentor, somebody that I genuinely look up to without having to be convinced.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to look up to somebody or be excited about something that nobody told me about, that I just instinctively felt that way. Mm-hmm. And when we met Jeff on, through Zoom, I felt that way. Nobody told me about it.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's kind of like we've talked about our nutrition coach, Magnus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, knowing him, I would have never gotten a nutrition coach or listened to him or anything. It's something about knowing somebody, and especially when they kind of, like you said, kind of come to you. Nobody was like, here, it came to us. It was organic, like everything. It was meant to be. And it's growing.
And so where I'm coming from with it is like, I just want to share that with you guys, man. Like, for real. I want all of you out there. I just want to share it with you because there's magic happening.
Oh yeah.
And so if I'm experiencing magic, I want all of you to experience it with me. I'm not like Gollum, like it's my precious, I want to have it all for my fucking self. Fuck you. No, man, like let's all do this together. Let's go through this thing together, because just from talking to him on Zoom, this thing's going to be a fucking trip.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And also too, just to kind of dispel some, possible weirdness or negativity that might be out there about shamans or anything like that. Jeff is a scientist first and foremost.
Yeah, PhD after his name.
He was finished high school at 14. Like, he has a lot of secular knowledge as well as, ethereal knowledge and lots of different things. And so I just feel like this is somebody that initially and immediately I trusted, and I haven't felt let down yet. And we've had multiple interactions with him through the course of this. Yeah, we actually have. So I just want everybody out there to just take a chance on yourself and help hook yourself up.
Yeah,
give yourself a couple hours of listening time.
If the universe was a car, this dude is a master mechanic. Okay?
Ooh,
so
that's a good.
Go to nosimpleroad.com, www.nosimpleroad.com, because you have to put 3 W's and a period before anything, and then a dot and a comma after it, and then that takes you to some magical land on the internet called No Simple Road. And then when you go there, if you scroll down, you'll see Jeff's picture, and just below that is the explanation of the class. There are still 4 in-person spots left. I'm going to leave registration up until Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday's a good day.
Wednesday is the cutoff. Wednesday at midnight. So, yeah, man, come hang out.
On a side note, it's kind of weird because you and Jeff look a lot alike.
Oh, and it's going to be this coming Saturday, the 5th at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. That's 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 o'clock for you over on the East Coast. And I even did that math on the fly. And yeah. And it's going to be about 2.5 hours, so you can plan for that. So like noon to 2:30.
Yeah, get your candles out, get your cushy little backjack chair, get a little blankie.
No, man, you go sit on your couch and get cozy.
I'm saying. Do whatever you want to do.
You crawl up on the roof if you wanted to.
Go,
you could do that.
Somewhere where they've got good Wi-Fi.
You go to the park and do it on your phone.
Yeah, you lay on the floor of the bathroom. If your house is warm, that's a cool
true.
place.
Yeah, it is cool. You can lay in the bathtub.
Listen however you would like. Just sign up. Come join us. How about that?
Yeah, we've given many options of ways to listen.
Yeah, man, so, you have no excuse.
Yeah, and if you're on the fence, get off the fence and
there you go.
Join us.
Come fly with the flock.
Join us.
Jason. Yeah, man. So I don't know that I'm super excited about that. That's a big deal that's coming.
You want to know what else is a big deal that's coming?
Jasper.
What?
Jasper's
Baby of the
coming.
world?
Woo,
Baby's
baby of the
coming
world.
Baby critic, baby of the world.
That's all I got to say, guys. I'll just leave it at that. I won't gush anymore about my little baby.
Well, then you're leaving. Yeah. You're going downtown.
So what?
Yeah. He goes downtown, get some salt and straw, visit 23rd Avenue.
You gotta take the baby to go get salt and straw.
We'll do all the kinds of stuff.
You got to.
All of it.
Yeah, I've got to get my pear and blue cheese ice cream.
If you guys check this out, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, there's locations in California and there's locations here in Portland, Oregon. And go to the website, go Google salt and straw and check this out. It's like Willy Wonka ice cream.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like flavors you'd never think of would be good together.
Black pepper,
black pepper, balsamic strawberry.
Yeah,
was one of them they had.
Pear and blue cheese.
And then
Which
they always
one's
have
your
the
favorite,
seasonal.
I'm simple. Vanilla and salted caramel is my favorite.
But wasn't there a little some in there?
That's it.
Okay.
Super boring
one. And then around Thanksgiving they do the that gets weird.
Dude, they had bone marrow.
The turkey fat ice cream and yams and they do weird stuff. Anyway, check it out. It's good.
Vinegar.
Everybody loves ice cream.
Yeah, so
especially in the summertime.
Yeah, so Mel,
what?
How was your week?
I thought Apple would kick it off with his birthday week, month, celebration, all kinds of stuff.
Just looking at you, so
it was cool. I had food and I drank.
Get out of here!
Yay, Apple!
No,
Happy birthday.
It was a really, really good week. And for first time, I'm not slighting anybody else, but I am so thankful to Melanie for
whatever
she does it for everybody too. She goes above and beyond what everybody else kind of does. And I guess it's the grandmother, mother, sister vibe, everything. But I just went Wednesday was a work day, so I came home, and you had offered to make me a cake on Wednesday, and it's like, no, let's hold that till Saturday when we celebrate, and we have a few other people over to enjoy it. So it was really chill. Came home, but you got in a little box of macaroons, not like coconut macaroons,
Not like the fancy
French
French macaroons.
that are usually
Each
the
one was
pastel
different.
colors and everything. There was a special birthday cake one. They put a candle in it. They all sang me happy birthday. We just kind of hung out and chilled. And that was funny, too, because I got off work at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. I was all excited to get off early, and everybody at work, who's mostly younger than me in their 20s, are like, dude, party, fucking have a drink for me. And I'm like, I just look at them. I go, I'm excited to go home at 3 o'clock because I am tired. I'm going to take a nap. And they're just like, oh, right on. It was like I'm celebrating this weekend. So I had a great week at work. I connected with, which I'll bring that up at a later date on a commercial for Define. Connected with a couple gardens I've been trying to, which I'm hoping to get their weed in. That makes me very happy when I
could see the excitement on your face when you got home that day.
Me too.
Yeah.
About that weed.
It was great.
And I have never, in my life, I've seen a lot of weed. I've never seen weed like that.
And that's Fenario Farms, and our listeners will understand Fenario. And this is a garden out of Eugene that's just, they're known for creating magic. But that was fun.
Shit laid Mel out.
Yeah, just chill rest of the week. And yesterday was the celebration for my birthday. I had a couple friends over, and we did, what did we make? We did tri-tip that was perfectly smoked, had a nice pink ring. It was
Thank you, Cody.
delicious.
Yeah, it was really good.
Cody brought me birthday baked beans, which were amazing.
Yeah, they were super
He
good.
like said he spent hours doing those beans. He's like, I coated the bacon in brown sugar, cooked it perfectly, really crisp, so then he could add it to the beans and it would still be good.
Aww.
And he went above and beyond, as Cody always does.
And he was so happy to get an instruction for a particular thing to
I
bring.
knew
Yes.
when you were like, what should Cody bring? I was like, oh yeah,
I
baked
think
beans.
everybody would feel that way when you say, okay, come to bring a potluck or whatever, bring a dish. When somebody says specifically to bring something, that is such a weight
Hone
off
in
your
on
shoulder, and you can really like kind of put your love in it instead of like, oh, frantically.
So you don't show up with like toilet paper and Vaseline.
Well, I don't know where that
So
was
anyway,
going.
back
Yeah,
to
okay. Sorry.
well, that's one thing we know of Cody and Bree. Cody and Bree, everything they make is good.
Yeah.
And with intention. And then it was super fun having Cody over here because
Oh my
me
gosh.
and Aaron know how to do meat and stuff, but Cody is like a pit master type dude. I was out there yesterday narrating. I'm like, and there's Cody in his natural habitat. be very quiet as you approach him. You may scare him away. But it was really fun celebrating.
He brought his party hat.
Yeah, we played badminton, had cocktails. I had
Listened to
cocktails. Not
music.
everybody had
Cocktails.
cocktails. Mel had some
I had cocktails?
I got her that honey lavender
The Teton
cider, which
ciders.
was amazing. I got it for her,
Super
but I
good.
still drank some of it. And so yeah, yesterday. And the other thing too, I really had fun celebrating yesterday, but I was having whiskeys and cokes and this and that. As we're getting healthier, that really it's taking more of a toll. The thing I think the most was I drank 3 Cokes as a mixture. Yeah, 3 Coke. Well, 1 root beer and 2 Cokes as mixture with whiskey. Because I'm tired of the ginger beer. It gives me
You want a
heartburn
little-
sometimes and stuff. So yeah, I was like mixing it up, then realizing, then plus today putting into my Fitness Pal tracking. Yesterday, and Mel made the bombest gluten-free carrot cake that was just so good. I gave Darwin a piece, and Darwin's eyes like got huge, and he just started salivating immediately, and then went to everybody. Like,
Yeah, he tried to
give
come
me
over.
some cake. Give me some fucking cake, punk.
Fucking birthday party.
Yeah, so that it was a special, fun day, and lots of food, merriment, laughter, everything to be had.
Dude,
We had a great interview yesterday.
Oh my
also,
gosh, yes.
Which we can't go into depth
No.
on. That we interviewed
Davey from the
Dave.
Toby and Davey YouTube channel. Davey that teaches Grateful Dead guitar lessons on YouTube, and they have podcast. And
he was like a brother that we just hadn't talked to in a
I got
little
a
while.
text from him.
that-
He was like, "Just deal with it. We're best friends now."
Are you my forever friend?
Hell
Are you
yeah, we are.
forever friend, Dave?
It's
Yeah.
always
Oh.
great when we can connect so deeply with somebody, just sight unseen, and then all of a sudden we have one conversation, and now we're, like you said, BFFs.
We went 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we even turned it off, you guys. We
and then we continued with him for a little bit to get a little more personal.
I was going to tell you, Apple man, you mentioned coming home at 3:00 and taking a nap, 52-year-old, and that day I was thinking back to when we lived in Vegas, and I lived with you at your mom's house when we were kids, and birthdays were a time for cocaine and whiskey.
Well, what else are 8-year-olds gonna do?
I just remember, like,
just kidding. We were at least in our teens.
Yeah, we were at least in our teens. I just remember, like, being stoked that it was either one of our birthdays, because we would get like birthday money from our families.
Yeah, it was
and
like
then we would go buy
party
cocaine. And how things have changed. How things have changed, my friend.
Coming home, take a nap and taking care of ourselves.
I know.
Like I'm paying for yesterday, but one thing I told Aaron this morning I did, and I'm baby steps with everything. I'm working into it today. I did 12 minutes on the rowing machine.
Whoa,
this is the first
yeah.
time I did it till I broke a sweat. I've been kind of working into it. And I did 12 minutes, and I know I was extra sweaty because it was like the alcohol and the freaking meat sweats.
I know that you out there
not
understand
like ate a lot of meat and alcohol.
What that means. You don't understand the immensity of the statement that Apple just made.
I think I've always thought exercise. It's like, well, I get up and I go to work. Well, did you actually? I said I got up and I go to work and I walk around a lot. I'm very busy at work, and it's like, no, that's not exercise.
No.
So yeah,
it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
huge fucking deal.
Starting to do that, push myself more, and I learned a lesson yesterday. I wouldn't take it back. I had a fantastic time. I enjoyed everything I did, but I'm realizing, like, whoa.
The effect that it does have on you now. Well, before you kind of were always feeling like shit, so it didn't matter.
I love whiskey. I love the different buzzes of all alcohols. Whiskey is a very fun, different one, but it's a heavy one. I'm realizing it's another thing. I'm realizing I'm getting older. It's like I think I'll have a couple glasses of wine. Beer's bloaty. Whiskey's a hangover. Vodka. I can just drink way too much of it and not have a hangover, but then it fucks with your system. So. Yeah, yeah. From a professional drinker,
they call that an alcoholic in certain circles, my friend.
Yeah, in certain circles. Yeah. I'm a professional drinker,
but in the No Simple Road circle, it's professional.
Yeah. So that's it. Now here we are sitting on Sunday. It's a nice, relaxed day, and we're doing this.
Yeah, man.
I'm with my peeps.
Yeah, you are. How about you, Mama?
I had a really good week too because it was fun. It was fun celebrating Apple, and I made his collage on my birthday and made sure that I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I got him a cute little candle and a bottle of wine,
and a bottle and a nice little and a eucalyptus poo be gone spray for the bathroom. Yeah, like all these little things like a dude wouldn't get himself.
Yeah, just like little trinkets because again, when if you're a 52-year-old man, chances are you've got everything you need, and it was just some fun stuff that I wanted to do. Got him a cool little, old-fashioned smelling candle.
Oh, that smells fantastic. It smells kind of like bourbon and cigar, kind of like a bourbon cigar bar, like that undertone.
I wanted it to be fun and special, and sometimes one present is cool, but just small little things to let you know that I'm thinking of you. So that was super fun to be able to, especially coming out of COVID and all that shit. I feel like this week was we definitely were all back to our normal selves, but it was just nice now to feel good and not be like, oh, well, we're just getting out of it. No, we were all feeling good. We're feeling happy, feeling festive.
We're over being like it's COVID related.
Yeah,
it's that's in the past.
Exactly. We're done with that. We felt good. And just, I don't know that I have too much going on, but I just been really kind of, excited about Jeff coming. I've been excited about finishing my sadhana and really going back and reading and realizing how much my mental game has changed. And I only your own person can realize that, how you think about things or how you don't think about things anymore. And I'm just been so much more, I feel like more space is in my head and in my body. Like, I don't know, like you were talking about being bloaty. When you know how bloating takes up space and it's like air.
Yeah.
I feel like there's space and there's no air. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a helium balloon kind of, and it feels fucking good. I'm not like oppressed with lots of thoughts that were so dumb and cyclical. And Apple brought home that really good Fario weed the other day, and I haven't Fenario, sorry. And I haven't been partaking because I was on my fast, and I just kind of like extended it because I just did. And I smoked one hit, just one. And I slept for 14 hours. I couldn't stay awake.
She was sitting on the front porch and she had her eyes closed, and I was sitting right next to her. And she was like just sitting there with her eyes closed, and I was like, Mel, I'm going to go in. And she was like, I want to cuddle. And then the next day she said, I was trying to tell you I wanted to cuddle for like 10 minutes, but I couldn't say it.
I couldn't. I just wanted him to know it and to like scoop me up and like take me to bed. But I couldn't even open my eyes, let alone open my mouth. And it was, of course, it was a combination of how fantastic that is, but also abstaining from any type of all things. I realized, wow. I mean, I was a daily smoker every day after work, or maybe even just like before bed usually, because I kind of like, push it toward bed. And one thing that I realized that I wasn't doing was dreaming. I was so laid out from smoking all the time that I passed out instead of fell asleep. So one of the things that I noticed when I first started my my sadhana was that I couldn't fall asleep very easy. Like I was tossing and turning a lot, and I was like, fuck, this sucks. And I was like, maybe I should go take a hit. And I was like, no, you don't do it, But after like that first week, I was like fucking vivid dreaming, remembering my dreams and like getting messages in my dreams. And it was amazing. And so look, I love weed. I love cannabis. I love marijuana, whatever you want to say, however you want to call it.
I love Mary Jane.
However, this has been the best time away from it because one little hit and I feel like I am on psychedelics. Weed is a psychedelic, and I'm actually feeling it again because I haven't been smoking like that.
It's more medicinal.
Absolutely. It's very
just
medicinal.
Recreational.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems with cannabis.
And I was abusing it. I'll be the first one to say it. I was definitely abusing it. Like maybe I do need it on a daily level, but I don't need to smoke a whole fucking bowl. And maybe I don't need it every day.
Hits.
Maybe I don't need it every day, maybe every few days. And what I've just done is like kind of figure out what I've needed. And so I've allowed myself to have a one hit if I feel like it, or just not, and not feel bad either way. Cause I'd be like, what, you're done smoking now? So that's it?
You can't let yourself fucking chill smoking or not smoking.
I can't, you guys, but that's what I'm saying. That mentality is fucking, that there's space in my head because I'm not doing that. So I was just able to like pick it up or not. And there's no...
Well, that's a great thing about like the dope is dope.
The dope is dope.
You just need one.
You just need fucking one.
Two,
you don't know my tolerance,
just
bro.
a couple.
Yeah.
And I smoke all the time, and I could take 2 hits off that stuff and just be... And it's like microdosing.
Yes,
it's just like
very psychedelic.
It's head, body, it's just like
I was in such a tizzy. I was in a freaking tizzy that I couldn't tell if it was my head that was tripping out, my body that was tripping out. I couldn't tell if I was like gonna throw up, like if I was drunk kind of feeling. It was everything.
It was so funny. We went in the room. It's like maybe 5:30, and we laid down on our bed, like on top of the covers, just laying down with the dog. And I was like, I'm gonna put on some music, and we have we have a Sonos speaker in our room, and so I was like, I'm gonna put on Planet Drum, Mickey Hart,
because we had listened to Mickey Hart the night before.
Yeah. And so I put on Planet Drum, just kind of low, and Mel's like, after about 5 minutes, she's like, what's happening? Something's happening. I was like, yeah, it's Mickey Hart. Of course, something's happening.
I didn't know what there was an experience going on, and I didn't know how it happened. And then, like, it was so funny. I was like taking my shoes off. I could not take off my
she
second
was laying
shoe.
on the bed with one Doc Marten on and one Doc Marten off and one sock. And just like, and with her foot hanging off. And I looked over at her. I was like, aw, she needs help getting her shoes off. She's so high.
Oh
so
my
I
gosh.
went and took her
It
shoes
was-
off her.
you guys, I'm
you
telling
told me
you.
about that. You told last night when you guys were telling me about that. Because when I got home from work and it's like, they're gone for the night. I never saw either of them. I was like,
And mind
wow,
you, it was a
they're not-
Friday night.
And then you were telling me that it's like, and Aaron was like holding my hand. I could feel it, but I didn't know if it was his hand. And I wanted to cuddle again. I couldn't just. You were doing the motion like you were trying to rock your body towards him, and you're trying to move your hand, and it's like I just wanted to cuddle, and I couldn't get it out.
I couldn't get that word out, and that's all I wanted to do. And it was such a crazy experience with like Mickey Hart. Like, so he's got this thing. It's on Commune, and Commune, you can find that on
The
Instagram. The internet. No, but you can find it on Instagram. And so basically what it is, it's like kind of like classes or workshops from different teachers and different musicians, like all different kind of people. But he had done a collaboration and
With Zakir Hussain.
yes. And it's like 15 minutes of a sonic bath. And so we had put it on the night before all of this when I was sober and didn't have any tripping out problems. And it was fantastic. Like, it was amazing. And the next night when Aaron put on Planet Drums, I was convinced that he had put that, oh, you put Mickey Hart on? Oh, it's that other thing. No, it was Planet Drums. I have Planet Drums on my Apple Music. I hear it all the time. I did not hear it like that that night. And Aaron's hand was kind of like the string, the kite string that kept me down, you know?
That's your
Like,
tether.
it was a really
Good
great
thing you
night.
didn't let go. She could have just.
You would have floated away.
I would have floated the heck away, man. But so my week was really cool. It was full of celebration. It was full of like fun retolerance issues, excitement about Jeff coming, excitement about Jasper coming, and I was just feeling good again, you know. And that's all. Excitement.
Excitement's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like excitement.
It's better than non-excitement.
Boredom.
Dreariness.
One thing I was like reflecting back before we talked about this, like kind of today at work, I was thinking like, I haven't had those excitable emotions that I usually get. I'm not saying at all. I'm just saying generally I'm very.
You are more chill.
Yeah. And it feels good to be excited. And like, you know, the guy, I was like, just look back. We were playing badminton yesterday. And I look back and there's Ryder and Cody and Doug and you and Apple. I'm like, the girl playing with all the boys over here, and it was just so fun. And I don't know, it made me happy. I got excited. And so I'm just saying, I hope I spread that out to everybody. I hope everybody can feel that excitement and take a little bit of that, because
I did.
that's what I was
just wondering, did you get upset that I whooped you in badminton?
Oh,
no.
Apple?
I'm just
man.
kidding.
You know what's so
I'm
funny?
just kidding. That was so fun.
Apple hasn't been playing with us. All he does is watch me and Aaron, and then Aaron was like, my arm hurts. So Apple's like, I'll take it on. I was like, what?
I was waiting for that moment, because that was like a you thing. You guys were having so much fun doing it. Now I'm butting in. I'm gonna be like,
Hell yeah.
Budinsky.
come on, Aaron, let's go. Mel, let's go.
No, it was super fun. And
Apple's like, I got the
I loved
bug.
it.
That's fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
So speaking of excitement,
okay.
so how was my week?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How was it?
I
How was
so I
your
have a
week,
story
conductor?
to tell. I have a
I
story
like
to tell.
story time.
Back in the 1930s. No.
Oh, I was getting all settled in.
You know,
This sounded
when
deep.
COVID started. Okay, let me back up a little more.
in the
back-
1920s,
Back at the beginning of 2020, we had this really full schedule. We had like O'Teal and Friends on the schedule. We had Skull and Roses coming up. We had Fish. We had all this
Hog
stuff.
Farm.
Hog Farm. Yeah, all this shit we were getting ready to do. And a lot of time in my head was spent planning and like getting ready for stuff and then celebrating. And then that was gone. And that, I think, was one of the most difficult adjustments to being quarantined and being at home, was not having anything to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
And you know, we all got COVID. Everybody heard that whole story. And then the day we all started feeling better, Fish announced their tour. And it brought back this feeling. I realized I was doing something really shitty to myself, where I wasn't listening to a lot of music because it bummed me out.
Yeah.
That there was nothing to look forward to. So when I would listen to music, instead of letting the music remind me and make me feel better, it was doing the opposite. It was reminding me of what I didn't have.
Okay.
And so I wasn't enjoying music as much. And now that it's coming back, there's a certain thing that happens when I'm listening back to a show that we've been to, or really good music, where the emotion just like takes over and like tears come to your eyes, or your hair stands up on
You
your
get those
arms.
goosebumps.
Yeah. And I was shutting that down. I was like, no, I can't let that happen right now because of everything that's going on.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. I've stopped doing that.
No, I just mean like period. Like that sucks.
No,
It's not fair.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I know.
Well,
And
just saying, like, you enjoy myself was like, no, you were not
I was not
allowing
enjoying myself.
yourself to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And but now that it's coming back, like I realized a couple of days ago, I was listening back to the Gorge Fish show that we were at. And, you know, we've talked ad nauseum about the experience on the show, but it really brought it back in like Technicolor in my head. And I just refelt the feeling. I felt the feeling I forgot. And it was fucking dope. And it made me so excited to see live music again and to be with everybody and be sweaty and see the
Why
lot.
is that always a thing with you?
And-
You
and,
mentioned
like,
being sweaty a lot.
because
it
it's
ha-
summer and you know.
And everybody at the shows we love to do, everybody gets down.
Yeah.
Everybody, there's
That is
nobody
true.
just well, I mean, there are people, but they're not as much fun as the sweaty people.
Yeah. And it just looking forward to seeing everybody, and then also like getting the random text like from Tommy Tacos, hey, you guys doing the Gorge? I'm thinking about pulling the
That made
trigger.
me happy to hear.
And you know, the plans are starting up again, and it just fucking feels so good to have that coming back. And we've also talked ad nauseum about the first show back and how that's going to feel, and and we have a Pick and Park coming up in July, two weeks of shows. Yonder Mountain String Band and the infamous String Dusters are playing at Hornings Hideout 1 week, and then Green Sky Bluegrass is playing the next week out at Hornings. And we got tickets for both shows. And I am so fucking excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like a little kid waiting for Christmas. And it feels so good to have that back and to be looking forward to something, and to know that we're going to see everybody in that.
We're going to
like,
see a lot of
dude,
friends
that
there.
first, I just think about the last show that we saw was Frasco and Humphreys, and like when Humphreys took the stage that night, the first note, I remember it. And I'm just that feeling of the music in the air through the sound system.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I'm so excited.
It's coming around.
So fucking excited. So I was thinking about that a lot this week, but also, you know, the whole getting healthy thing, like now that we're feeling better and I'm back at it, I'm in earnest, like working out with the mace and the steel clubs and hitting the treadmill again. And it feels so good, dude, to like move all that stagnant energy that was in my body and get it out. And like, I was telling Mel today, like I overdid it today a little bit, like
As per usual.
as per Aaron, but
I said you were so hyper this morning, and I even got up to come get my laundry, and you had folded all my laundry and everything. I was like, oh, he's like, well, I didn't want to just throw it in the basket. You're a busy bee this morning.
It just I don't know, man. Getting that stagnant energy out of my body is a fucking game changer. And like I said, I kind of overdid it. And Mel and I were laying on the bed before we came in here to record and just kind of napping a little bit. And I was like, it feels so good to feel tired like this. Like I did a hard day's work.
Like naturally tired.
Like hard days, like kicked ass and like body tired, but not like, oh my God, I'm so not like that. No, not like that. Just like, wow. And it's weird. It's almost like that feeling when you're on DMT, that like pressure feeling you get in your body. You know what I'm talking about, right? You've heard people talk about that that have done
books
DMT.
and heard encounters.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw a video about it once. But that pressure feeling in the body, like that, it kind of feels like that in a weird kind of a way, that the tiredness is just like this blanket of comfort.
Natural DMT.
Yeah, it's rad. And so I'm figuring my body out, man. It's
it's really cool, you guys. Again, looking back at the bird's eye view of all the guys and seeing the interplay and seeing you and Apple doing this together, that's the only way it was ever going to happen. And I am so grateful and so lucky and so, I'm like biting my tongue back here, just like, I love it when the plan comes together, but also not like, just my hands are folded neatly. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Enjoy the moment.
Well, because, I've been feeling good for a really long time, and I get it. I'm 7 years younger than you, babe, and 10 years younger, 9 years younger than Apple. So I'm just gonna have a little bit more energy just because of that, and
you've always been fitter.
Yeah, and I'm small.
You've always listened to your body. I've never listened to my body. I used to be like, "Shut up, body, have another drink." Fucking. now it's like, oh, I'm listening.
But I've just wanted you guys to have that. I wanted like two awesome guys in my life to be able to feel like that on their own without me pushing anything, and like seeing what it does, like just having a bird's eye view, like, oh shit, look at them. Who would have ever known you would have bought a mace,
dude? I
who
just
would have ever
remember
known you would have bought a row machine.
You were a very just and fair queen too, Miss.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Like you kind of do just sit back and observe. We know what that you don't like us.
We may look like
sitting
stupid
around,
men,
and you don't like us smoking, and that's something we got to deal with in the future too. But you're always
because I wouldn't want any. Like my mom was always about telling me what the fuck I needed to do in my life growing up, and I fucking hated that. And so even my own kids, I don't tell them what to do. Do what you need to do. I know what's right. If you need my advice, I'll give it freely, but I'm not going to put that on you. That's not fair. I might put a little bit more on Aaron because he's my husband.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Say what?
Well, like, okay, smoking affects me directly. Like when I want to fucking make out, and then it's like an ashtray, and it's like fucking dank ass coffee, cigarette, poop breath. Like nobody wants that.
Gross.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'm not gonna like.
But if it's your brother, it's okay to have dank ass poop. It's like that's your husband. You have every
so
right.
I'm definitely gonna say some shit to you, babe. But like, as a whole, I want you guys to do your own thing and figure out your own shit, because it's not. Oh, well, Mel said that we should stop, so we're stopping. Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
I don't ever want
last.
that. Yeah, it won't last.
Yeah, you got to quit.
It's not
for
fair, and it's not cool.
Yeah. So just figuring out the body is a trip. And I just remember seeing like the On It videos of like mace training and thinking, that would be really cool if I could do that. Like that looks really cool. I wish I could. And then like not letting myself
do it,
feel like I'm allowed.
When you guys are funny, and that's not like I said I got to go. Now I feel more comfortable doing the rowing machine to start kind of having you guys show me a little. To
Yeah,
not
I'll
hurt
show.
my-
Yeah,
But you guys crack me up too, because in the beginning you're like, "This is all we need for right now." A couple months with the 7-pound. Next thing, the 10-pound comes in the mail. Next, I'm waiting for like the 30-pounder with spikes.
No.
They're gonna have shield. Come home, you guys got shields.
Dude,
and
they've
you're
got
just
that Alex Gray
battling.
one with the different faces.
that thing is 45 pounds and fucking 5.5 feet long. No. The
Another month or
10-pound one
two.
is
Yeah,
fine.
right.
No. I can barely swing the 10.
Yeah, it's just funny. I love it. No, we're gonna take it, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay, we
It's
need
just cool. That's
And
all
it's
I
cool
can
to
say.
see.
But yeah,
it's cool to
what
see
I was
all
saying
of
is
you
I
guys.
never gave myself permission to think that I would be, first of all, coordinated enough to do
to
it,
weld that
to
thing.
fucking pull it off, and then second, strong enough to do it. And I just realized, like, fuck it. Just like anything else, just fucking do it, stupid. And start slow. Go microseconds, if you have to. And it's paying off, man. I feel different. Like in a month and a half.
Your
of
arms
you-
do feel different.
It feels different. I can feel the difference. It just like in moving in the world. So that's cool, man. And like the last DMT trip that we had really like underscored what the body is. And it's an interface. It's an interface with reality. We always talk about the meat suit and all that stuff. And like, you are literally consciousness inside of a spacesuit computer that is decoding information all around you. So why wouldn't I want that thing to work? Like,
Optimally.
I'm running virus protection on my fucking computer and defragging the hard drive and doing all this shit so that it doesn't fuck up, but I won't eat healthy. Like, what the hell was the matter with me? So I want to take care of this thing so that I can move through reality as best as I possibly can, so that I'm getting all the information that I'm supposed to get, so that I can feel my life.
We have bigger shit to do, you guys, and we need to be healthy to do it. That's the end of the story. Bigger and more. We're not just because we're 50s, 40s. We are just starting with NSR, and we couldn't predict where it's taken us, and we can't predict where it's gonna take us. And all I know is that we need our energy to do it.
Yeah. So that is, and I'm also, another thing that's come up for me this week, and this was a private conversation between Mel and I that we had in the car that I'll share with you guys. Now it's no longer private. I've worked for corporate America for 18
the car. We were walking Dar.
18 years, and in the telecommunications industry, and I've gone through all kinds of phases in that time of like hating myself and hating my job, and then hating my job and myself, and then being okay with it and being resigned to the fact that I am a slave to this company and blah blah blah. And when we moved to Portland, like I got a job with a really big telecommunications company up here, a really good job. And
Great job.
yeah,
actually.
great job. And I didn't let myself go down the rabbit holes that I went in Vegas. Like Mel said to me the other day when we were having this conversation, like, you didn't like yourself, so how are you going to like your job?
Yeah.
But I fucking love myself now, and I appreciate my job. And it's a weird thing that was happening to me this week where that's concerned. I'm coming to a crossroads with it where I am philosophically at odds with the thing. Like, I'm having to put my moral feelings aside in order to keep working there.
Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder to do. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with the work. It doesn't have anything to do with the people. It has to do with the ethic and the where is my line in the sand? How much am I going to allow myself to be manipulated by a corporation for livelihood. And
Yeah.
and I'm not there yet. I'm just telling you that it's happening, that like I'm at odds with myself, not in a bad way either. It's just it's an unfolding that's happening, like an understanding, coming to grips with that it's even a thing and able to talk about it.
A realization.
Yeah, it's not like
Fully fleshed out yet.
right, and it's not some pent up fucking thing that I can't put words to.
Well, you know, like in times past, when you were just talking about like back in Vegas, when you didn't have a love for yourself and the job and the weather, and there was like so many things you can add to it. And just from being your wife, it doesn't feel like that.
Mm-mm.
You know, there was so many excuses and so many reasons, and this is something that's like, this is a growth thing. This is about you like growing beyond what you're doing, like especially with the show and the things that we have in the works. Like that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, we were in a meeting the other day, and one of the participants, this was a meeting with Osiris. One of the participants in the meeting just started working full time for Osiris, and he was like, I used to. They were asking what we were like thankful for or whatever, and he was like, I used to have to like crowbar in my work for the podcast and all that, like at 11 o'clock at night or 2:30 in the afternoon. And like, this was my side hustle. And it feels really good now to wake up in the morning and this is what I do. And I'm putting myself 100% into this thing. And not in like a jealous kind of a way, but I was just like, holy shit, I should be fucking saying that. I need to be doing that.
Yeah.
I need to be saying that. And, I know that like, I know it's coming.
Yeah, we know
It's coming. I don't have any illusion.
We all know we don't
Well,
have.
that's also what feels different, babe, because before you used to not be able to wait for shit. Like you were very impatient about things, even if you knew things were going to change or going to happen. Like the anxiety and the angst and the forethought, and you couldn't relax in the moment now. And just for you to be able to say that, that's a whole.
I said we hadn't seen that Aaron in a while.
Right?
In a while, at least
I feel like
3-4 months. It seems
one
like
of the blessings
now
of COVID is that it did that for you.
Patience.
And that's amongst getting healthy, that was another huge thing about you that was really hard to handle, because I like, especially like when I was teaching yoga, everything's about being in the present moment and enjoying right now. And it always fucking felt like it sucked for you to be in right now. And it sucked for me because I'm like, I like it. I like the Aaron that I have right now. I want to hang out with him, but I want to hang out with him here and now, not in a show in 2 months then he'll be happy. Like, let's hang out right now, fucking making lemonade and just fucking be cool together.
We're going to make lemonade?
I mean, I don't really want to.
That's
I don't know why I
possibility.
thought about that
But
lemonade. But
what you just did, that's the air with the. You've gotten much better at that, of like accepting that it's going to take time for things, of kind of slowing down. I used to feel bad. And it kind of goes to what you just said. To come home in a super great mood and kind of dumb it down a little until I like got like I didn't want to come home too excited or happy, and
Because I was stuck here.
well, especially towards the end of last year, since 2021 has changed quite a bit, and I noticed it with you, and I think it goes along with all of us. We've noticed changes in each other, getting healthy,
Yeah.
being more dedicated, the light at the end of the tunnel of shows coming again, and also knowing that we're not going to have to be working for somebody else forever. All of us.
Yeah,
That we're going to be working for ourselves. We have a business now.
Yeah.
That's growing.
Yes.
It's not, and it's that too, but it, like I said, it's morally at odds with the thing. Yeah. And like, I'm allowing myself to be manipulated and taken advantage of consciously. And
it's happening more and more.
I'm not okay with that feeling. Like, I'm the kind of person that like, I was a punk rock kid. Like, fuck the man, fuck the system, fuck the establishment. When I got turned on to the Dead, that didn't go away. I don't fucking trust it. And I never have, and I never will.
No,
And
absolutely not.
And they've never had my fucking best interest in mind. They have the bottom line in mind. And I get it. I've participated in it. I've justified it every million different ways I can. I've played all the mental games. I've bargained with myself. I've made deals with all the bullshit that we do to get by.
Yeah.
And I am coming to the end of that no simple road.
Well, also something you did for a long time that I've seen as your friend and stuff is you absolutely stepped up to being a father and did what you had to do. Now your kids are great. Simon's 18 now. Sid's been on her own for a while
Since
and
she
doing
was 18.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are both in the, pretty soon it's like that empty nester or whatever thing. I don't see you guys
We'll
going.
never be
I
empty
don't
nesters.
see-
We'll always have you.
I was
Apple.
going to say, I don't see you guys going through that because you got me,
Yeah.
and then they come visit all the time. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times with the corporate thing, the job thing, like even right now, I love doing what I do, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm busting my ass for somebody else. I get taken care of, and I make decent money enough to make me stick around, but I want to be doing what's fun, like we're all going to end up doing with this. But I just have seen that with you. You did what you had to do for a long ass time with a job that provided, like corporations do, great benefits. They keep you with that, but
Well,
it is against everything.
I also want to
always
say
been
too,
for.
man, like I am not judging anybody out there that's
I
doing
know.
that.
We're all
Hell
doing
No,
it.
I'm not. Like that's not where I'm coming from, man, at all. We all got to do what we got to do to fucking get by. Period. That's
Yep.
the end of the story.
And however you
gotta
wanna
do
do
our
it.
thing,
Yeah.
man. I'm just talking about me and my personal beliefs. I'm not putting that on any of you out there. I love you guys. If fucking that's your thing, do it, man. There's got to be somebody to run the store. I get it. Those things have to exist for the way the world is right now. Totally get it. Understood. But do I have to be a part of that? I don't think so anymore. And I am creating an exit strategy, and this is part of it.
I love that. I love that. That's one of the things that made me fall in love with you is the just trusting you blindly, and I know you're going to do it.
Oh,
That's one of my favorite things. Like, oh, you don't have $1 to your name, and you want to get married and build a life? Okay, let's do it. Oh, you want to move to a place that I've never fucking been to and start a whole new life with a bunch of fucking people? Okay, let's do it. Like, I love that about you, but I love when it's tempered, and that's what it feels like.
yeah.
You know, it feels
old
more
me
like-
would have been like, I fucking hate it here. This sucks. They suck.
Well, you would have found a million reasons to complain about it until
and not do shit about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is like the mature, like fucking fine wine kind of way. You're like, okay, I see this shit's going down. I don't like it. I'm planning my shit and it ain't ready yet,
Yeah.
but I'm going to do it.
I can't wait to put in the fucking 2 weeks notice, but
Well,
we
I
ain't
like-
there yet.
I like that analogy. It's like fine wine. I kind of feel like that. It's like, okay, we've
Yeah.
aged well. It's time to open up
guys
the
have
bottle.
aged
Let it air out.
Let the floral bouquet come out. And
And there's nothing like seeing I have guys, your guys or girls or whatever you got in your life doing good by themselves. Like, not by themselves alone, like by
for themselves, doing good for themselves.
Yeah.
It just, the way things are right now has really underscored the need for a moral compass in a different kind of a way than I've ever had to think about it for myself. That was never at the top of my list. I was like, be kind, don't be a dick, don't fuck people over. If you say something, do it. Your word is your bond. And that was my whole trip. But there's more to it now.
Mm-hmm.
And
More complex.
it's way more fucking complex now. It's getting really weird.
the world's getting weird. And
Yeah.
Well,
complex,
and
it's
not for
time
nothing, but just by sheer age, and this is not the only reason, but just by your age, the two of you are leaders, period. And then you start getting into who you guys are personally, and you guys are leaders. And we need leaders to step up. We need leaders that people admire and look to, and mentors that are not going to lead them astray, that teach people that, yeah, your word does mean something, that teaches people how to collaborate and not be jealous, and to lift your brother up and not fucking be competitive. And we need that. And to see that you're taking that role on, whatever that means, is refreshing for the world, especially our No Simple Road family. Like, Aaron and I, you weren't there, Apple. Aaron and I were talking the other day, and 5 that we could just count on one hand people that listen to No Simple Road have started their own podcasts. And we were kind of tripping out about it, because it was like, you know, being an inspiration for something or for someone, you don't really know the fruits until you see, like, you actually can see what's going on. Like, you know, it's kind of like in the ethers, you know, and especially in the podcast world.
It's very, very like ephemeral.
Yeah. But then when you see people actually creating things based on just the inspiration that they've got from what we're doing, that is more fuel for our motivation and for our cause. And it's really cool to be in the process.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's a fucking trip. All of it is a really amazing journey. It not
is.
Simple.
No simple journey.
No, it's not simple.
No.
It's really not fucking simple, but we'll get there. It's
we are getting there. We're trekking. We're trucking. Gotta
Yeah,
keep
it's definitely
passing.
moving forward constantly.
let's do the business.
Business?
Let's do the business and get them to the.
Get them to.
So, if you listen to No Simple Road every week and you haven't gone to patreon.com/No Simple Road, you should really do that right now, like Joe B did. Joe
B.
just signed up as a $20 patron.
Joe B.
Joe B
Joe
also
B.
wait.
Uh-oh.
Joe B also bought a hoodie and a birthday
Joel
t-shirt.
B.
Joel, sorry. And we met him at the beach.
Yes, we did. And
Or you guys met him at
Joel
the
B,
beach.
I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to
Oh,
send
yeah.
you a dope ass collage. I'm thinking about you. I'm going to scramble on your page a little bit, maybe take a little bit of what Jenny did and mix it in with my style. And I'm going to send you something super dope that you can hang up next to your strap.
There you go.
There you go, Joel.
We speak your name, man. Thank
Joel.
you. Thank you for...
Seriously, thank you, man. That was a bomb hug that you gave me and Apple at the beach, and super sweet. Just...
And he did
You're
something
sweet,
else,
man.
which we'll get to in a minute here.
Oh.
Thank you for believing in the No Simple Road family, and thank you for supporting us, man. And I just want you to know, like, it really does mean the world. And it has nothing to do with the money. It has everything to do with the love.
And the
Yes.
intention.
And thank you, man. So, yeah, you guys, if you listen every week and you can support No Simple Road, that is part of the exit strategy. And you guys can be integral in that thing going down. So,
And also, another thing that you can do to support the No Simple Road family is do what Joel B did here and write a 5-star review. And so Joel Batmail.
Wait, let me do Joel.
You want to do
Yeah,
Joel's?
let me
okay.
do Joel
let
because
him-
there's a
let
birthday
Apple-
wish
okay.
in
Oh,
there.
perfect. Okay.
Well, this is what's so exciting. There is 2 this week.
Mm-hmm.
So one for me and one for Mel. Aaron, this is the thing we get to do that Aaron doesn't do very often. Oh. So first of all, thank you to both of you for last week. I put out a birthday wish for somebody to give a review for my birthday month.
And it's the 30th. They're squeezing it in.
2 people came through. So this is Joel. I was introduced in SR podcast back in December of 2020 via Instagram. I have been hooked ever since. Their honest approach, openness, and willingness to put it all out there is so refreshing. The fluidity of the interviews and the guests that appear on the show speak for themselves. Thank you for all 3 of you and those behind the scenes that make this happen. Keep it coming. To those that enjoy what they provide for all of us, please support them. Thank you for that,
dude,
Joel.
that's somebody putting his money where his
then he
mouth
throws in at the end, "Happy birthday, Apple." So thank you for giving a review for my birthday. That means more than that's an
fucking
awesome
dope.
present with a big bow on it.
And I love that he wrote
and it's
Big Old
signed
Joel.
Big Old Joel. Big Old Joel.
He's a big, tall fun
Yes,
there,
yeah,
you know? That's rad. Joel, that was really sweet.
Thanks,
I appreciate that. To those that enjoy what they provide for all of us, please support them. That means a lot. That
Yes.
really, really, truly does mean a lot. So anyway, I'm going to do Eli Paw, and this was on Wednesday. This was on your birthday. This show is made for you is the tagline. Never in my life have I heard such an intimate, down-home podcast that speaks to the listener on such a personal level. Incredibly in-depth conversations with musicians, artists, and interesting individuals that include nuggets of wisdom and joy that no one should go without. The love, authenticity, and passion of these folks is something incredibly special, and for your sake, I suggest you hop on in.
Damn.
They care about you. Yes, you. Deeply and sincerely. Satisfaction guaranteed, or I will personally give you whichever of my toes you choose, along with a lap dance to your favorite sea shanty.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
come
Eli.
lay on your head. So come lay your head on this podcast. That's fucking dope.
Wow,
Wow.
those were two.
Sea shanty.
Those were two amazingly powerful, strong reviews.
My man Eli
Dang.
even signed up for the class.
Oh,
Yeah?
Eli.
Yeah,
Dang,
Eli.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You know, that right there is what changed my attitude about the show from early on and made me like just
Love it.
I fell in love with the show. I wasn't always in love with it. It was kind of like you, babe. I liked the show, but I wasn't in love with it. And then once I got to know the show and start doing the show more, then I fell in love with it.
Nurtured
like
it.
you.
It got potty trained,
Yeah.
started talking, and didn't have to worry about it. It's like, oh, okay, you're all right now.
Thanks, guys.
I
That
love you.
just means so much because not only are you listening, but you're feeling it.
Yeah.
That's what the difference is. You're not just fucking putting it on, and you're feeling what we're putting down, and
It's like a
that
good
is
Jerry
dope.
solo.
Well, to offer up one of your toes? Shit,
I know,
Eli.
dang, and a lap dance.
Do a sea shanty.
I know.
So yeah, 5-star reviews. You too can do that. And be awesome.
Yeah,
like those two.
make us so happy.
Yup.
We get giddy.
Yeah, you
Totally.
should see the smiles in here. It's
For
really
real.
fucking real.
Yeah, Aaron's
See-
dimples are coming out.
Cheeks are kind of rosy.
You made me
right?
blush.
Oh my god! Yeah, put your
Aw.
nipples away. What are you doing?
So, sorry.
Ow, my eye.
Anyhow, so where were we? Oh, you can go to NoSimpleRoad.com and you can sign up for the newsletter. You should do that because that's how you find out about stuff that's happening in the No Simple Road
Yup.
universe. And also, there is No Simple Road merch up on the page as well.
Aaron has this really dope No Simple Road
they're not up
shirt.
there yet.
Oh, never mind. Well,
No,
he's
you
going to
can't-
put it up there.
Nobody
But
else has these but me, you, and Apple.
And then
and Ryder.
Yeah, soon they will be.
Yeah.
And plus the other cool thing that you haven't been able to do in quite a while, like the calendar is there. There's actually things to start going on the calendar
Yes, there
of places
are.
we're going to be going to where people can
Yeah,
meet,
come party
can
with the
meet
No
us.
Simple Road family at
Yes.
Horning's Hideout in July for Yonder Mountain String Band and the infamous String Dusters and Green Sky Bluegrass. Or you could come to Matthew Knight Arena and hang out with us at Fish, or you could come to the Gorge and hang out with us at
At
Fish,
Fish.
or you could come to Vegas and hang out with us.
Fish.
Yeah, you can do that.
So there's a lot of fish in our
There's
diet.
a lot of fish in our diet. You know what? We have
those
been
omega-3s.
we have been nutrient deprived for over 14 months. We need some fish in our diet.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
So anyway, everyone, you also need some Reverend Freakchild
Ooh,
in
yeah.
your diet.
Yes, you do.
Oh, wait, hold on real quick, Mel. Why don't you throw that Teppan line number out?
Ooh, 971-808-1524. That number again is 971-808-1524. Hop on that line and give us some fun feedback, just like Joel did, just like Eli Paw did, but say it virtually and with your voice and be like, hey, you guys rock. We love it. Or be like, hey, I've got this dope ass gluten-free recipe. Boom. Or, hey, you should add this into your smoothie because it helped me immensely. So any stuff like that. Or just, hey,
Anything.
guys, I'm just going to call and just say, what up?
Call us when you're on the can.
That, yeah, you'll have
Even
plenty of
that.
time.
Yeah,
You'll have
toilet
plenty of time.
stories.
See, there it
Oh.
is.
Oh my
All right.
gosh, I love that. Toilet stories.
Yeah.
That's a great tagline.
We should do a new segment, Toilet Stories
Toilet
with
stories.
Apple. And you can just record it when you're on the can. No?
We'll look into that.
Not-
Possibly. I don't know.
not all
We got
ideas
the-
are
Okay, let's
good
get back
around
to the
here.
Got the
Reverend
wheels
because
turning.
this
Yeah,
is his
let's-
turn. This
yes.
is his point where he comes on and everybody enjoy Reverend Come on, Reverend Freakchild?
So
Think about that.
without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Reverend Freakchild.
Money, buddy, me home. Don't feel tomorrow. Feel today. Back my thing. Make it get away. One out of trouble. Oh, where am I? Well, I'll never be satisfied. Yeah. Well, I feel like snapping. There's a cross of faith. Gonna make some graveyard. Woman in the pain. Oh, woman out trouble. Oh, where am I? Well, never be satisfied. Lord knows I couldn't keep crying. Well, now all in my sleeve, yeah. But my doorbell rang. Went door to door, baby. Didn't see a doggone thing. But I'm troubled. Hey. Oh, where am I? Hey. Well, I'll never be satisfied. Lord knows I can't keep from crying. Well, now goodbye, baby. Hope we meet again. Oh, you won't be so evil. Have so many men. Woman, I'm trouble. Yeah, where am I? Well, I'll never be satisfied. Oh, Lord, I couldn't keep from crying. Well, I know my little baby. She gon' jump and shout, yeah. Yeah, don't treat me like love. I'll be walking out, yeah. Well, I'll never be satisfied. Lord, no, I couldn't keep from crying.
What's happening, brother?
Hey, how y'all doing today?
I'm good, man. Where are you, Rev?
Planet Earth. No, sorry, a little more specific.
Yeah.
Boulder. Well, actually, I live in Boulder, Colorado these days, but I'm actually at my girlfriend's place here in Denver, Colorado. So she's allowed me to use her yoga/meditation studio down here, and yeah.
With the beautiful backdrop behind you.
Yes, my friend Matt from Lost Sailor Dye Works there. He actually gifted me this
Wow.
tapestry. I'm usually not a big fan of the darker ones, but this, I got a kind of dark sense of humor. It went with my crazy cosmology, but yeah, he printed out a whole bunch of, or dyed up, and printed a whole bunch of shirts for last summer, but you know, people bought them online, but yeah, we were going to take them on tour. They're still there, a bunch of them sitting in the box, but here we go. We put this one up on the wall.
Wow.
Isn't it nuts how we were talking a little bit before I hit record, and you're like, wow, that was last summer. How fast it went by. Isn't it crazy?
And now it's getting surreal because it's like, oh wait, this summer, and then there's like the thing of like, oh wait, some states are opening up, but I don't think I'm going to be really touring full on this summer. I'm looking to 2022, so it's sort of this strange, oh right, the seasons come and go.
Yes.
Again.
It's been a weird theme because basically what we do, we talk to you guys, but before we start the interviews, we do like an intro thing, and we talk about how things are going. And I've been going back and listening to a lot of the episodes we did during the quarantine, and it's a theme, man. Like the stretching of time, the plasticity of everything, and the surreality that this imposed upon us.
Well, and I don't mean to get, cut right to the chase, but the first times I experienced that was, taking massive amounts of LSD, hallucinogens.
Right.
And now that we were talking about scheduling this thing, and I'm sitting with my Lama these days. I'm one of the lucky few in the Wharf Rats community, but I'm sitting with my Lama, and he says things like, the present moment is beyond location and time. Now, I'll say that again. The present moment is beyond location and time. So it's like, wow, all that LSD I did, didn't get me as far out as this guy meditating for 20 years.
Yeah.
He's in a cave for 12 years, and I'm like, oh, right, you can get there just by sitting there.
Yeah.
And this COVID has really made, he's talking this morning about, distraction, like the outer world is causes always suffering because it's impermanent. You think it's permanent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you turn inward, it's really timeless. And then we try to go back outward and be like, oh, wait, what year is it? What season is it? Oh, wow, I didn't go on tour last summer. Am I going this summer? Am I going next summer? We kind of have to find a reference point. And that kind of confuses us, or at least confuses me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It's hard to find purchase mentally in that space. So, you say the present moment is beyond time and space.
Yeah.
That means the present moment never ends. We are in this elastic
Exactly.
now.
Yeah, they talk of the Buddha like that. The Buddha is sort of equated to space. Like space, as they say, space is the place, man.
Yeah.
But space is, the thing or the non-thing that allows anything else to happen. Not to get too esoteric here.
We can absolutely get esoteric. This is esoteric timing.
Yeah, we count on it.
Some of your viewers are already maybe getting onto that journey, and wow, this is just what I needed, man.
Yeah.
Well, come on. When we have to say it, that's when we need to hear it, and so does somebody else. I mean, I just don't believe that there's wrong timing in saying something. When you accidentally make something slip, that was probably just you. Some part of you had the courage to say something maybe you didn't, you couldn't take really full credit for,
I dig it, and they talk about that in the Buddhist cosmology or the Buddhist teachings as auspicious coincidences.
Okay.
Really, there are no coincidences. We could talk about them as happy accidents. Sort of. Oh,
Right.
So Bob Ross was onto something. Yeah, right?
Oh, many a stoned afternoon watching Bob Ross. Oh my God, he's gonna fuck it up! Oh.
No.
He pulled it together
Pulls it
every
together.
time.
Yeah. Rev, I am really bad at remembering to ask our guests to introduce themselves to the people that are listening. I just take it for granted that everybody knows who you are. Can you introduce yourself to them? I'm sorry.
An introduction to myself too. It's all constantly changing identities here.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, my musical moniker or mystical incarnation of this and or appearance. Long intro. Geez, sorry. This is going to be a long bio here. No, I'll keep it short. Reverend Freakchild. This is many moons ago. I'm actually coming up on on the 9th. You can tell I'm once a stoner, always a stoner. On the 9th of this month, I'll have 15 years sober.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks. One day at a time, right? But many moons ago, I was sitting on the couch, and a buddy of mine, my roommate, was like, "Hey, man, you go to that party tonight?" He's like, "Are you guys playing at that party?" And I was like, "No, man. Like, I'm off duty tonight, man." And I held up this huge bag of weed, and I was like, "I got a lot of work to do tonight, man." And he said, "Man, you're like some lonely freak child just sitting on the couch smoking dope all day." And I was like, "Yeah, so what?" And so the lifestyle got in the way of the art for me. And I, played in a band called Banana Fish for many years up in the Northeast, and we did a lot of gigs. And I remember, tripping on mushrooms and just watching my hand, like, wow, this is pretty amazing. This guy's pretty good. And so finally, actually, the Reverend character came about before sort of a spiritual awakening, which is strange. I went and saw a Reverend Horton Heat show.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to make this lonely freak child character into like a Reverend and see what happens. That'd be cool. So I actually rode away to the Universal Life Church, and I got an ordination in the mail. I've since gotten other empowerments and, recognitions from lineages from actual teachers, but this was sort of like, oh, right. And I could flash it as a badge. Hey, I'm the Reverend. How can I help you? So that's how that came about. And then I had all these like old, the Grateful Dead actually did a version of, they call it One Kind Favor, but it's, I had all these old tunes that I did like that, but they weren't like coming out like jam band or like gig tunes. It's like people are partying and they don't really want to hear, Death Don't Have No Mercy, beautiful tune. That was one of the tunes in my repertoire too. And it wasn't, I don't know, I found a place, finally, 420 on Sunday afternoons at Tobacco Road. I don't know if you know this place.
Yeah.
If you ever travel.
From Las Vegas. Yeah. They had the Tobacco Road in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did.
Right. And so the original one was in New York, and it was right around from the bus depot, and it was this crazy place. Like, I met Robert Randolph there. I met, like, Bernie Worrell. All these guys just hanging out doing these gigs, back when they were, it was sort of on the fringe there. But so 420s on Sunday afternoons, I'd sit in the front room on my amp and play these old spirituals and blues, and there were a lot of field hollers and stuff like that,
Right.
And sort of in dark corner with a hat on, just sort of because I needed a space to put them out there. And this character kind of became this Frankenstein. And I put it out on an album, and this radio guy was like, "Man, what the hell is this?" People are going to think this is like Christian rock, but like Reverend Freakchild? Like, what the fuck is that? I'm going to sell this thing. And so I said, well, see what you can do with it. And so about 3 or 4 albums later, I was like, man, we got to change that name. He's like, dude, you can't change it now. People know you as that, And I said, okay. And so finally, just to get into the whole thing and skip to the chase here, it was 22. It was 2020. 22 is the next one. But 2020, I finally came out of the closet. I've been a closet Deadhead for years, And I always appreciated the Grateful Dead, not only for, the non-denominational traveling mecca of, induced by chemical realization, but
right.
Also, this spirituality. A Dead show was like a church service almost. Like it was, yes. Oh my goodness, this is an event. There's something happening, Mm-hmm. And I never really was forthcoming about that until this latest album, where a few years ago, Mark Caron and I, for those of you who don't know Mark Caron, he was lead guitar in Rat Dog for years, but also amazing player in his own right. He and I had a conversation over chicken and waffles over there in Fairfax, where he's living, in Northern California. And we talked about the influence of the blues on the Grateful Dead. Pigpen was a blues guy.
Right.
I mean, the Grateful Dead started out playing in strip clubs.
Yeah.
Anything he does, I love.
It's amazing. And his dad was a DJ. His dad was a rhythm and blues DJ, race records, they call them back then. And so people don't really realize how extraordinarily revolutionary that was for a before jam bands were jam bands, to travel across the country, you listen to, Big Steve on the Big Steve Hour and all that stuff on the Grateful Dead station or whatever. But he talks about, also Pigpen, like, there's a white guy singing black blues tunes,
right.
And then of course the people are tripping on drugs, It's like, I heard actually somebody the other day talking about how, well, the Grateful Dead's just country music for people who like LSD. And I said, well, what about Pigpen, man? They used to be a blues band, They were
right.
rock and roll. And I can hear my dad still saying, white boy playing rock and roll. I mean, a white boy playing blues, that's rock and roll. Excuse me, I messed up my line there, but.
Wow.
So that's pretty much me. So this latest, the next album is this kind of foray into sort of this is a whole other subject. But anyway, we'll keep to this sort of this longish introduction here. But was this conversation that Mark Karen and I had about the Grateful Dead is really steeped in the blues, also embracing the whole American songbook, which is amazing. That's why I think really musically the Grateful Dead is such a phenomenon, It's sort of almost like Upanishadic Hindus. They just accept anything. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, we'll take him in too.
Oh, cool. Got it.
So they make it their own. And so Mark and I talked and we had this conversation. I said, man, I'd really love to put out an album that was sort of, some influences of the Dead and the Dead doing blues and sort of take it one step further. So we got together and Mark and Robin Sylvester put bass and guitar on some tracks that actually Chris Parker and I recorded back in New York. Chris Parker is an amazing drummer. He played with Dylan, plays with Joe Cocker. I met this guy on the New York music scene, and I went to he's a really amazing jazz player now. He played in the band Stuff.
Oh yeah, I know Stuff.
Yeah, it was super funk, kind of like out there jazzy stuff, and always like a fan of his. And he came up to me after a gig one time, and he was just like, "Hey man, how you been, man? We got to get a project together." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So we went over to a friend of mine, Hugh Poole's place, and we just laid down like guitar and drums, like an old, fife and drum blues band back in the day.
Okay.
And the origins of that comes from the Civil War. They let the people take their instruments home, and it was a fife and a drum to marksman the battle. And here are these African American fellows that brought those things home, and all you needed was a melody and a beat, and you had a party. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe a little moonshine, a little fire, like that. But so anyway, we did that, and that was enough of a structure that Robin and Mark put their stuff onto it, and then I met Melvin through Mark, and Melvin was just so he had that perplexed thing of like, Reverend Freakchild, like it's a religious thing, but like it's like a hippie weird thing. I was like, exactly, man. So we had him like do some gospel feel over some blues changes, which he just totally handled, and we were very professional for a while until like one afternoon when I'm on the phone with him, like gushing, like I was like, dude, man, I grew up listening to you, like you're amazing. And he's like, oh man, we're just all just people. And I was like, man, this guy is so real.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate what he was saying during the when the pandemic came out. He just said, "This too shall pass." This too shall pass. And that was that's the sort of the mantra. It's like all is impermanence, but we try to enjoy it while we're here on planet Earth. So anyway, that's kind of an introduction. Hopefully, that was a little entertaining.
Yeah,
that was very insightful. That was good.
I have like 8,000 questions.
I know.
Do you want to go first?
No, go for it.
Okay, you said something that piqued my ear up.
Yeah.
You said I was a closet deadhead.
Yeah.
Why? Why was that a thing that you hid from the world?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe part of it recently was like a sobriety trip, but there's the war frats. I think it was maybe I get pigeonholed, when you say, oh yeah, I love the Grateful Dead, they're like, oh, you're just some hippie. And I think Garcia has been, a lot of people say, oh, that's just a hippie band. And I'm like, dude, Garcia is a fucking, excuse me, I don't use this term often, but he's a genius. He's a banjo player, guitar player, songwriter, singer, helped create this amazing band of pedal steel, and people discount him because, oh, he's just a pothead. He was a hippie. It's like, I don't think I wanted to embrace that. I wasn't comfortable enough, maybe musically, to say, hey, yeah, I'm a hippie, I'm a deadhead, and then people pigeonhole me into that group. But of course, over the years, people be like, man, yeah, the Grateful Dead used to do that song, right? Like, Death Don't Have No Mercy. And I was like, yeah, I actually learned it from that version on Live Dead. And people were like, oh, I know like the Yorba version better, the Hot Tuna version. And so it just sort of slyly came out. And then I realized, like, why am I resisting this? there's a whole audience of people that probably like this spirituality from that angle, you know, and it's like, okay, this character is really not a reverend in the traditional sense, you know. I was raised Christian, you know, and a lot of that baggage, you know, 23rd Psalm and 1 Corinthians still banging around my head. You know,
Right.
my mom and my dad were Presbyterians, you know. They and my mom, she wasn't a religious zealot. She just read to us out of the Bible after dinner and had us memorize biblical passages. And so when I tripped on LSD one time when I was a kid, I thought it was Jesus for a weekend, you know? And I was like, man, I don't want that job.
Yeah,
Way too much responsibility.
it's like being president. Nobody wants that job.
Yeah, I don't want that job, you know. So I think it was a kind of like a thing I was going to take on, some kind of, you know, expectation or something like that, and it turned out that finally, when I was able to embrace it, was the right time. Like we were talking about, there's no accidents, it was auspicious coincidence. I actually met Mark because I had a tune called the Hippie Bluesman Blues. It was about getting all my shit stolen. Excuse me, we can swear, right?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Swear away.
All right, shit.
Fuck
Michael
it.
did Harlem. Shit, fuck, suck a motherfucking tits. You know?
That's right.
So,
Cheers to you.
But I had this tune. I got all my shit smashed and grabbed in San Francisco, and it was brutal. I mean, they got 2 guitars. They got my ukulele. I think I left my ukulele. I used to play like ukulele in traffic, you know, and then be like, okay, I'm not playing that, you know, because the cops or whatever. But I think I left it on the thing, so they saw that, they smashed it, got that, and then they were like, whoa, look at all this. I mean, it was just a bad, perfect storm. I had like a gig bag with like $400 in it from the night before.
Oh, man.
And like, I just done my laundry. And so they stole a whole bag of clean laundry, all my merch, you know, and it was just like, oh my God. I mean, it was brutal. And, you know, I just started really studying hardcore Buddhism. And so my Lama was like, oh, impermanent, see? And I was like, like, this is what happens when you start studying Buddhism? Like, this fucking sucks.
This is bullshit.
You know, and so those guitars are so intimate, you know, you write songs and love songs and explain your life, you know, through melody. And here they are just liberated from you unwillingly, you know. So I had this song. Actually, I couldn't write about it. So I got together with this Boulder poet, Tim Dardis, a really great guy. And he helped, we joked around a little bit with it and talked about sort of, you know, Buddhist imagery, you know, black cats and, you know, things like that. And, or excuse me, like blues kind of, you know, going down the crossroads kind of stuff.
Okay.
And finally got a song out and I said, oh, we got to put this together. And sort of that was the thing, you know, like this, I think this is going to be the theme of this auspicious coincidence. It's like, wow, I'm going to take these lemons and make lemonade out of them. I'm going to take these obstacles and turn them into the path of awakening, right? And so I would have never met Mark Caron unless I was like, wait, who is a real hippie bluesman these days? I was like, listen to Mark Caron's solo album, you know, Through the Fire. You know, there's a version of Love in Vain that about at 420 gets really psychedelic. He takes it out there, you know?
Okay.
And it's a beautiful version. I thought, man, I'd love to get this cat on this track. So I just approached him. Actually, one day at Crossroads, I don't know if you've ever been down to Terrapin Crossroads there, you know.
Oh, yes.
And it's just so mellow. You know, growing up as an East Coast Deadhead, it was like, people were like, get the fuck out of my way, man. I want to get to the front. You know, and in West Coast, it's like, dude, go up to the front and say hi to Jerry.
Yeah, it's totally true.
This is my scene, man. So we were just hanging out, and in this beautiful, the sun's going down, and, you know, they just played Friend of the Devil, and we just had a conversation, and it was just really beautiful. And, of course, we continued the conversation about the blues. So it was like I got to record on this one track that really sort of made it poetically this thing of like, okay, here's the hippie blues man. Like, yeah, I'm the hippie blues man, but this is really the hippie blues man. It's Mark Caron. And that led to this recording more. And now it's leading to actually, we want to really do like a more hardcore blues album. There's a couple of tunes I think we want to do that for our, you know, sort of the Grateful Dead had adopted, but also go to dig deeper into the blues. Mark and I are both big fans of Albert King. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful, huge figure, and also a huge figure. I remember seeing him at Tramps in New York City years ago. And he walks in, he's 6'7". He walks in with a white girl, redhead under one arm, and a black girl under the other arm. You know, and they looked like dwarves compared to him, but they were like 6 foot, you know, chicks. And I was like, oh my God, that guy, I want to be that guy, you know, or whatever. So anyway, I don't know if that answered your question. I had an extra cup of tea while we were waiting to get on the line.
You said something too, man. You brought up the spiritual aspect of the Grateful Dead community. And that's, for me, that's been like 90% of my 30-year trip with them was like, it was such a seminal moment in my life. Going to my first show was transformational.
Yeah.
And I, for the longest time, was like trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Like what, like I walked in somebody and left somebody else. And now I'm left to figure out who this new guy is with no rules and no book. You know what I mean? And just recently, my lovely wife,
I'm lovely,
told me, you know, we were talking, we were doing a podcast, and she was like, you know, it's like Jerry was a lama or a guru in a lot of ways. Cause I've heard stories like about, Ram Dass going and meeting his guru, and he's like in this field of unconditional love, and it transforms who he is and changed the rest of his life and set him on this different course. And my dumbass, I never put two and two together. I'm like, wow, I wonder what that was like. That must be a trip. And she says to me, you know, it's the same thing. There's no difference. What's the difference? And I was like, boom. Oh my God.
Right.
But I wonder what the thing was that like caused that to happen in that situation. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah, you know, and I do have an opinion. You know, I studied with the guy Bernie Glassman, who's now in the larger circle. He's left his bodily form. He's in larger body, but he used to talk about that. And he was a student of his was The Big Lebowski, you know, Jeff Bridges. And he took this thing from it. It's like, hey, man, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah.
You know, but it frees you to be like, oh, right, your opinion, this is my opinion. So, yeah, I'll give my opinion on that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
It's, you know, for me, I think I have similar experiences. I have a similar experience with, you know, and Ram Dass's Be Here Now was a big influence on me after my initial drug use, because Ram Dass talked about how he was getting exhausted by having to put these chemicals into his system to garner this spiritual experience continually, right? And he realized that, you know, prayer, meditation, yoga, these exercises can also get you to that point of liberation, let's say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps it's not that the experience is not real, but the way that we try to language it is the problem or the challenge, right? And actually, I was watching an interview with Garcia the other night, and he talked about like, hey man, you know, and I can't do a good Garcia, but he's always sort of like, hey man, you know, like I like to read comic books and like, you know, esoteric philosophy and play bluegrass on my banjo. You know, he was just such like, you know, like kind of a geeky guru, you know, in this way, and so lovable. And like, you know, Phil Lesh talking about when they went first scuba diving, he would just like go out to the fish, and all the fish would come around him and be like, woo, you know, he just had that energy of like, hey, check this out, man. But he was saying in this interview, like, you know, he would get high. They always said high on psychedelics, and I don't think I ever really got high. I kind of like got out there or whatever. But he said, I couldn't really talk to anybody. And when people would talk to me, he said, I don't know what they were saying, but if I played music, we could totally communicate. So Garcia had that like language of music, you know, to communicate this feeling, right? And so I'm sitting there with my Lama this morning, Lama Tempa, you know, and he's a Tibetan guy. He's speaking in Tibetan. I can't really tell what he's saying until the translator speaks, but I can feel this kind of energy, right? And then the translator puts it into this language, and I'm like, oh, that's that part of my brain that's like the language. His speaking is almost like a musical thing. It's like, where am I feeling that, you know? And I think we keep, you know, they talk a lot about in Buddhism, like grasping these things. Like, what does this mean? Like, how do I talk about that? And that's why people like Garcia or famous teachers are so revered, because they're able to easily take this non-dual or, you know, conceptual edge of wisdom, you know, beyond words or languageable thought, and put it back into languageable thought, relate it to, you know, those that are hip to it,
right,
at least in some way, you know, with merit and wisdom or whatever you want to say it, or, you know, can hear the, you know, the wisdom, whether it be musical or whatever. And then they say, wait, what is that? Oh my God, wow, that's living, man, that's life, you know? And if you need, and even, you know, Ram Dass and Timothy Leary really copped to that at the beginning in their book called The Psychedelic Experience, was actually based on a thing that was mistranslated as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It was the Barl Total. It's a cooler name. It's Liberation Through Hearing in the Intermediate State, which I think is such a cool title. Like for a musician, like that's a beautiful title, right?
Right.
You know, and they even to it at the beginning. They didn't have any other way to talk about the psychedelic experience except to relate it to the Barl Total, which was this liberating through hearing in the intermediate state, which is one little book in a huge series of this Tibetan canon. And they said at the beginning, they said, you know, you can get to this kind of non-conceptual wisdom via different things, yoga and meditation and all kinds of different practices. And this is just one way with LSD. And of course, you see what happened to Timothy Leary in the later days. He really got worn out by using that elevator of LSD, you know. And for me, you know, I didn't want to, you know, get on and be Jesus again for a weekend. I was like, man, that LSD, I thought it was Jesus last time. I don't want to go down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with seeing the boys. I love Jesus, man. He's a fucking way cool cat, you know. It's just some of the people that are following around or speaking in his name. You know, I can hear my mama saying, if those people are going to heaven, I don't want to go to heaven.
I don't want to go. Yeah, I'm with you.
She's a wonderful. My mom's a wonderful woman, and she's losing her memory. But she used to read us out of the Bible, and she was a big staunch, you know, Protestant. Like, listen, I can read my own Bible. You know, I don't need somebody else to tell me what's going on in here. You know, but I've since realized that there are wonderful teachers, like you're saying, gurus, Ram Dass, Jerry Garcia, whoever that can turn you on to, you know, living your life and enjoying this time on the planet and not hurting anybody and maybe helping somebody.
Right.
So, anyway, I don't want to get too preachy, but I don't know what you guys expected. It's Sunday and you get the Reverend Freakchild. So I'll preach a little tonight.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
We went in. Okay, just full disclosure. There was no expectation walking in the room today. I just wanted to have a conversation with the man, and this is exactly perfect. So
the only thing that I had in mind was to say thank you for this wonderful package that you sent. It was so thoughtfully put together, and you sent these goodies. Your your cards. I know. Look, I'm so.
You're showing the computer.
Well, okay. So your CD, Reverend Freakchild Bodhisattva, the Blind Raccoon you sent us.
Yeah, we're on that latest compilation. That's Betsy Brown at Blind Raccoon. That's really like a blues promo thing, and you know, I'm more in that blues group world because there are these reverends. You know, there's Reverend Gary Davis. You know, of course, Grateful Dead. Everybody that knows the Grateful Dead, you know, I don't want to shit on you, but you might know him. You know, he's done a lot of tunes. I think actually Bob Weir got to hang out with him before he passed away. But yeah, so I've really gotten the blues side of things because these blues reverends, you know.
Right on, and then you dial it in.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed sending you that, and there's some vinyl.
Yeah, that's the one that I just and the artwork, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
That is actually, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, that's actually Chris Parker, who's I was telling you about the drummer. You know, he played with Dylan and all kinds of different people.
Oh yeah.
And he's a painter and really a jazz compositionist now.
Oh.
And his dad was a painter, so he grew up like watercoloring his dad's prints. You know, when his dad would sell these multiple prints. And then lately, I've gotten involved with this artist, wonderful guy, Jay James. He's more of a cartoonist, and he did the cover for the latest Bodhisattva Blues, which is the one with the Mark Caron and Mel Seals and all the.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there. Hey, Rev, give me 1 second. I'm gonna plug my computer, and I'm getting some stuttering on my end, and I'm just gonna make sure it's not me because I'm on my Wi-Fi. So hang on 1 second.
Okay, yeah, I saw that too. Okay, cool.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Cool.
Fuck it, let's do it live.
Opportunity
Yeah, that might be on. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. That might be on my end.
Yeah, no,
I can
we
hear
still
you,
got
yeah.
you loud and clear.
It's just every now and then, right? When you're saying something good, then it starts to stutter.
That's my higher power. He's saying, "Be humble, man." The technology keeps you in check.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend's rig down here in her.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, she does tech PR. She's also a psychologist. Excuse me. I can't talk about her. She makes me look like I'm doing nothing with my.
What?
She runs her own company. She's a psychiatrist. She's a meditation teacher. All kinds of stuff. She's just she's so beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, that's good. You got somebody motivated there.
That is awesome.
She's my muse.
1 second, brother.
It's good to have somebody that brings you up.
Yeah, and actually, it was funny. She was doing some highfalutin psychology teaching the other day, and some teacher was saying, "Oh, how are it was like a relational exercise or something." And they were saying, "Oh, for people in relationships, how's your relationship going in COVID?" And my girlfriend Lisa said, "I think our relationship's actually gotten better." And the teacher was like, "Better? What?"
Yeah.
Like most people are getting divorced or drinking too much or whatever, but it's really caused us to. We actually did some real work, like turning inward. Taking this time to be like, well, there's no symphony to go to. We're big fans of the Denver Symphony here, and that's sort of our really date night out once a month. And not that we don't go to other shows. I think the first show we officially went to was Donovan, which was
That's cool.
Yeah, he was sitting on this cushion, and we had his cheap seats way up, and it looked like he was sitting on a cloud. He was sitting cross-legged, like playing guitar, and it was totally perfect romantic music.
Oh.
You know what's strange, man, is you're continuing a conversation we had yesterday
With
about the relationships.
the relationships. I mean, it's very like this thing that's gone on has been a crucible, mentally, personally, and relationship wise. And it has burned away a lot of the extraneous bullshit that was there. And I don't know about you. I mean, I'm going to gather that you've thought about this prior to all this, but for me, it's made me realize the impermanence of life and how little time we actually have. Because, we were talking about the plasticity of time and how everything gets weird and all that, but it really seems to have impressed upon me like my mortality and how like my experience of being alive is this minuscule little blip in this eternal thing, and it makes me feel really big and then simultaneously extremely tiny. You follow?
I couldn't have said it better, and I have to say, it's just, you talk about auspicious coincidences in relations. Karen and I were trying to connect, just to have a conversation. We couldn't, so we were sending like text messages, and I said, "Man, I'm just getting exhausted. I feel so old during this pandemic. Like I'm getting old. I've got the gray beard." And he just was like, "Oh my God," you took the words out of my mouth. And you couldn't have said it better. I mean, it's this amazing feeling of like, wow, I'm so small in the universe, but that my consciousness or awareness makes it so big. And I think that's what, was it Albert Hoffman, the guy that synthesized LSD in Belgium or Switzerland or whatever there? He said that. He said that the one of the most important things was about him, when he was riding home on that bike, after he accidentally dosed himself, was like, wow, I am such this small little thing in this vast universe. But that paradox, like you're talking about, and I can't quite say it as well as you did, but like this, like, wow, I'm an infantile. I am infantile.
Me too.
Being, and I have a finite being, but I am in touch with something that is infinite, I'm a big fan of all that cosmos stuff. I was really just loving the whole Mars thing. They have a camera and a sound. It was the first time they had a microphone on the Mars rover out there. And
Check this out. They sent a rover to Mars with a microphone on it.
Yeah.
And they got sounds of wind, and they spent all this money to send a rover up there, and I can hear the servo on the camera over the wind. You couldn't put a quiet motor on the thing that you sent to Mars?
The same thing. I was like, all I'm hearing is the rover. Is there?
Yeah.
Well, one step at a time. I guess that technology will happen. And you think, wow, I guess this was like when, the Vikings went over to the New World and they came back and they're like, listen, we heard some stuff. Maybe it was just the sounds of our own battleship or whatever. But, in 1,000 years, people will be traveling, going to Jupiter and getting a cup of coffee or something.
And yeah, you never know.
That'll be
man.
the date night then.
And they'll be listening to Reverend Freakchild. Yeah.
Venus, that'll be the good.
Yeah, the Venus Symphony.
So, this has taken all of us in a new direction. And I know for us, like it's made us approach what we do in a very different way than we did prior to all this. We were really like,
we were
like a wild teenager. This show was like a wild teenager that just discovered psychedelics. Like,
that's a good energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And this thing has like, okay, you had fun and now it's time to get to work. And I just wonder if, like, for you, man, have you felt a shift like that? Like
Oh yeah. I was doing the Rev thing in New York before I came out here to Colorado. I worked for the Ronald McDonald House with cancer kids. I planned events and raised money for them. I had this dream about feeding children, and it was too powerful to not. Plus I got sober, so I was able to be of service. But and then I got burnt out with that. I just didn't know how to deal with that over the years. It was too overwhelming, and I really kind of paid attention to my dreams. Actually, that was another thing that happened when we were making that album with Mark Caron and putting all the Grateful Dead stuff and the blues stuff together. I kept on having all these dreams. I was hanging out with like Pigpen, and one time Phil Lesh came to me. He was like, "Oh man, Pigpen died. Like, we're looking for somebody to replace him. Can you play harmonica?" And I was like, "Wow, this is really weird." Like, I'm having all these dreams. Like, it's no coincidence. We're experiencing this infinite, timeless thing in a time body, right?
Yes.
Right.
So to get to sort of your conversation there, it's like, when I got burnt out in New York, I got burnt out on New York. I got burnt out on the girlfriend I was dating. I got burnt out on the whole trying to take care of cancer because I just didn't have the skills to do that. And I always wanted to study Buddhism. And I saw His Holiness the Dalai Lama speak at the Beacon Theater, and he said, "More effort, more study." I mean, I can't do a good Tibetan accent.
That was perfect.
And I thought,
I was there.
Tashi Dele, that's the only Tibetan I know. But I thought, wow, I got to do this. And so I applied to this little school called Naropa, which was started by this enlightened master. He was actually called the bad boy of Buddhism. He was a drinker and a smoker and a womanizer, and he was a Buddhist master. He came to America and imbibed in all the shit that was going on in the late 60s and 70s. And he started this thing called Naropa, which is named after an 11th century Mahasiddha, or a Buddhist saint. And so I've been studying that for the last 6-7 years. And when the pandemic hit, it was like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Put your mind where your study has been. Like, oh, right. Like,
oh, wow.
I've been reading the menu. I love esoteric philosophy. I've been reading, these 10,000-page books on Madhyamaka and Buddhist philosophy. And I actually got an undergrad degree. I like to say I got my BS in BS. I got a degree in philosophy. And so music has always just been there. I went to Berklee College of Music for a semester. But when I came out here, I really dug into the Dharma, as they say. It's like the Buddhist teachings, the Buddha Dharma. And really what I was doing, I realized now, was reading the menu. Like, oh, this is what happens, when you meditate. Oh, if I present myself with conduct, like I don't kill and I don't steal, refrain from intoxicants, refrain from sexual misconduct, refrain from stealing things or, lying or whatever. Wow, there's a natural luminosity or infiniteness that my body kind of contains and the world is in tune with, if you can get in tune with there.
Right.
And then I realized like, oh, right, the third training of the third pillar of Buddhism is to do the actual meditation. And it's like, dude, there's nothing to do. If I wanted to go downtown, I walk downtown, there's nothing open, for 6 months, so I was like, okay, guess I'm just going to go back to my place and meditate, or binge watch. I think I binge watched The Sopranos and Seinfeld and, all these shows. And I was like, man, I've seen all these shows before. And I got all these movies that I've seen. And it just kind of, you get a little tired of that. And like, oh, right. And I can always pick up my guitar and play something and write a new song and listen to, another Grateful Dead show that I was like, oh my God, how did I miss this show? Dude?
Right.
I never, oh my God.
It's
always
endless.
Like, yeah, it's amazing that way. But there were these times where it's like, I give myself a break and I sit there for just, 24 minutes, which is really the chi, you talk about Tai Chi. I practice Tai Chi. It's the energy in your body. It really, they say it takes 24 minutes to circulate, like, kind of. So if you just sit there for 24 minutes, and I always have the New Yorker in my head, and here I am in the pandemic. I found couple little groups that I could sit with, and be accountable. And it was like, well, what else am I doing? Let's just sit here and enjoy life, in the simplest form. Like, of course, I enjoy life going out to a show or something like that. It's amazing. Or talking to you all, like on a podcast like this, but the simplest of enjoyments is like, oh my goodness. And you hear this, like when people get older, right? You're talking about getting older. Like they're like, even the Godfather, there he is in his garden, he's this all powerful, monster. And he's loving being with his grandkid in the garden, just growing things, simple life, So there I was just sitting. And of course, it's always the New Yorker that comes up about 5-10 minutes in. And it's like, the devil and the angel kind of thing. That's sort of a Christian mythology, but it's more like this Mara character, which is the tender of the worlds. And Mara comes up and it's sort of like in the guise of myself as a New Yorker saying, what the fuck are you doing here? You gonna fucking sit here? Sitting here is gonna fucking do anything for you? Yeah, you gotta do something with your fucking life. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for your contribution. Thanks for sharing. And I just continue to sit there. And of course I use different exercises, some concentration exercises, some loving kindness stuff to get that part of my brain kind of working at appeal to the better angels of my being.
Right.
After about 20 minutes, you're like, wait a second, what the fuck just happened? It's almost like that experience you talked about, like going to a first Dead show. You're like, wait, something's changed here, but I don't know what the fuck it was, And I'm trying to put it back into language, and I can't quite grasp it. But there was some other thing that Jeff Bridges talks about that. I think it was in the movie Tron. He actually got to say it. He says, I'm going to go sit for a while, knock on the sky or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember that line?
Yes.
He actually used to say that to Bernie Glassman, but that kind of idea of like, we are these amazing creatures already, playing music, making art, all these things. There's politics and all kinds of bullshit too, but there's a whole part of us that is like, I don't know if you believe in evolution or not, but or creationism. Either way, there's an amazing being here. I mean, all these organs are working in the dark. I don't know what's going on when I'm sleeping. Like,
right.
Did I build this machine that's walking around? Like, wow, this is an amazing machine. And I just had some dental work done, and you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. Like, who designed teeth, and why does it hurt so much when they drill that shit out of your teeth?
Yes.
Like, why is there pain? Why is there suffering? I don't know, but I got to make sense of it, man, because I'm here on the planet. So I don't know. I mean, going on.
No, you know what, man?
This is exactly what you're here to do.
Yeah, and whoa! Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Oh, fine dog.
Did you hear the thunder?
Come here, baby.
Wow.
It shook our house.
Lights just flickered. The house shook.
Hey,
come here, baby.
Put him out. Sorry, man.
Who's that? Now, what's your dog's name?
Darwin. Darwin is part Mastiff, part German Shepherd, part bear, part human.
Big cuddle bear.
Yep.
Wow, Darwin, like evolution Darwin.
Yeah, we didn't name him. He was a rescue dog, and he came with the moniker.
That's wonderful. I was just talking about evolution, and Darwin just shows up.
Popped
there he is. Shows up.
Before the world almost ended here a second ago, what you were talking about is like trying to describe a DMT experience.
Yeah.
We don't have language for the psychedelic realm, and I think music is the closest thing that we have.
And artwork.
Music and art are the two closest things that help us get that out of our head and try and not even make sense of it, but just put it outside of us so we can re-feel it.
Exactly.
Maybe.
I'm going to say get in touch with it.
Yeah.
That's a great way to say it. There's you create something, it's a referent object, and then you take it back in to be like,
and
what's going on? And you make sense of it so you don't flip out. Chogyam Trungpa, this guy who started this university, he's a famous bad boy Buddhism. He talked about the spiritual path, which is the same kind of thing. It's sort of a non-conceptual drug experience, and the spiritual path that, for me, is a little more stable. I could just step off the cushion. I take LSD. It's like I'm on the roller coaster for 8 hours.
Right.
I'm like, get me the fuck off me. I get on the cushion. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was enough. I'm going to go upstairs and have a cup of tea, But anyway, that kind of non-conceptual experience, like they talk about, like on the edge of that is art and music, and these wonderful art forms that can sort of bridge that experiences that we have, right?
Yeah.
But Chuck and Trumpet talked about the spiritual experience is like, it's like a stairway, and you don't know if there's a next step, and you step on it, and somebody asked him, I think, like, well, where does it lead? And he's like, what do you mean, where does it lead? You just keep going.
Just keep going.
Like, whoa. And he also talked about sort of the negative feeling, or I don't want to say negative, but sort of the unfortunate, fear that comes up because we take it as something, like that can be the dark side, right, of art or music. It can put you in a space. I used to listen to Pink Floyd, and I can't listen to that shit anymore, man. Especially driving. I'm like, oh yeah, comfortably numb. Like, the highway is melting. Turn this shit off, man. I'm gonna fucking drive here, man.
It's bringing me back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just put on some bluegrass music or something. Like, that'll get me going up, or even Reverend Horton Heat will get me going.
I think too that like the meditation and the path of Buddhism, there's a million different avenues to get to that spot.
Exactly.
It's like a highway system, and
right. All the roads are connected. And they say in Buddhism there's 84,000 different paths. I mean, in Christianity you have sittering prayer. You have LSD. You have all these kinds of things.
Right.
I think the important thing is the exertion after that. It's like, and I've been to a lot of Dead shows, and I saw some people that got off the rails and they were just drinking. Maybe they had a psychedelic experience and then they had a negative thing, and then they were just like, well, I'm just going to drink that away. And then you're like, well, maybe there's something else. Do you really want to be living that lifestyle? So Chuck Trumpet talked about, that was the other thing he said. He said, the human experience, this experience we're talking about, that when you get hip to the spirituality, and when you take LSD, or if you're at a Dead show or you're at a communal event that invokes a ritual that's like, oh my God, this is life. It's like you're falling through space, right? Mm-hmm. And you think, oh my God, I'm going to hit the ground. And Trumpet said, the good news is there is no ground.
No ground.
It's just a feeling of like, But you're like, you soon realize, you're like, oh, there's no ground. But I still have this feeling of like, oh my God, what's going on here?
And the other thing that's like really come into sharp focus too during all this is like, how do I put this? So there's a collective consciousness that we're all a part of this huge vibratory field, the Indra's web, or whatever you want to call it, right? And that, like, tuning into that thing, that's like the sitting for 24 minutes, eating good food, being out in nature, breathing clean air, that kind of stuff, like, changes the way that your body vibrates, and now you're more like in sync with that thing, with that harmonic energy that's out there.
It's so great to go to a show, and I was the kind of kid who was like, oh man, I wish I'd seen the Grateful Dead when Pigpen was around, and now people are like, wow, I wish I'd seen Grateful Dead when Jerry was around.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm getting fucking old. But that kind of experience can get you in tune with your humanness. You're oh my God, this is amazing. And I actually. And I love that you're saying sort of like a good meal or like, even meditation can do that. Those are sort of willful, things. And will is okay as long as I align my will with my high power's will or whatever. But, and then I got to figure out what the fuck that is.
Right.
But it can happen by like sort of accident when we fall asleep. I'm telling you, man, I've had some weird fucking dreams, and there are all these like vague kind of like kind of dreams when this pandemic was really kind of coming on.
Yeah.
Like what? Do you remember anyone in particular or a theme that happened?
That was the scary thing. Like, I'd go to bed and then I'd be like, what the fuck was that? I feel weird.
Yes.
Like, I think it was my experience. And then I'd be like, dude, there are millions, if not billions of people that are like, what the fuck is going on? And it had that uncertainty, like a lot of uncertainty, like, and all these like strange dreams are like, okay, it's this thing, and you put it like that, and oh no, it's not that, it's like, the fuck was that dream all about? And of course, I have like regular dreams about, different, very visual things, and it's like, oh, that is my kind of maybe hinterland trying to tell myself something, process something. But these were very much like, if you talk about like Carl Jung, like it was coming up from the wellspring of
Right.
like this collective unconscious of like, hey, what's going on here? And I think there's a lot of downtime and people sleeping and then being like, you know, I think we're pretty amazing beings and we have a lot more communication skills than, you know, just speaking English or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, languageable things or even music, which is amazing. Like you're saying, like that can just penetrate, you know, through, you know, amazing stuff. And of course, Grateful Dead or any amazing musician is a testament to that, you know, or musical experience. But I think there is this sort of subtle thing of like, oh, right, we're on the planet Earth and these are like fellow people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why they talk about, you know, in war. I mean, my dad was a military guy and I remember asking him one time, it's like, how do you deal with, you know, he went to Vietnam twice. So how do you deal with knowing that you kill people? And he just said, you learn to live with it.
Mm.
And it's that kind of thing. And the moral hazard, they talk about it, you know, when you're in war and you're killing another human and you have to justify it in all these ways of like, well, they're evil and they're bad. They're doing all these things. It's like, yeah, maybe the current administration or somebody's talked them into doing that. You know, it's wait a second, but this is the guy that just kind of looks just like me. And I just killed him. And wait a second. And you know, I think I grew up with a religion that was like, well, they're going to hell now. But now I embrace different kinds of spirituality to say, well, it's karma. You can still work your way, you know, into a peaceful existence, but there's stuff in front of you now that's like, okay, I killed this person. It's like, well, how do I work with that? Immediately, maybe I go help some war-torn nation with kids that need to be fed. Okay,
Right.
I can just easily do that, you know, and create merit and wisdom and you know, in a way of like this corporeal form is taking on that karma and trying to help it move, you know. I just remember hearing Garcia say that one time. He was talking about, I think, being a chiropractor, and his chiropractor saying just like keep moving. And I was like, oh, that's a great thing.
Just
you know,
don't stop.
Whether body or mind, you know, or spirit or whatever speech, we get caught in these things. I mean, say the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Expect different results, or we, you know, have a pain in our shoulders. Like, what's that from? Is that like, oh, because I'm repetitively writing with this hand or I'm typing. It's like, oh, how do I hold my body differently? Maybe I'll take a break every 20 minutes. You know, those kind of things can really help. And especially for a musician like Garcia, who was playing every night, he had to really pay attention to that because that was his way of expressing his wisdom and joy. You know, to the world.
Yeah.
You really hit the nail on the head with what you just said about the dream thing, man. I'm a dreamer too. My dreams are extremely vivid and frequent and insane. And
Well, that's good. That's what I love about dreams. They're like surreal. I'm
yeah,
like,
it's great. And
I remember
when all
walking
this
down
when
straight
all-
with this bass player friend of mine, and all of a sudden I was like, woo! And I took like a moon step, and I was like, whoa!
yes, I've had it. I've
can't
had
do
that
that.
happen. Yes. And when this thing started, same thing, man. Lots of like confused, afraid dreams and dreams that I couldn't I couldn't tell anybody what happened, but I would wake up with a feeling like something happened to me when I was asleep. Like,
Yeah.
and it would carry through the day, and it was consistent. And as things wore on, it got less and less. And that's a trip that you just said that, man. The hair stood up on my arms when you were talking about that.
Wow, man. I mean, that's just whatever it takes to get us in touch with, you know, being human. And I think that's something. You seem like a really hip cat, man, to take the time to, you know, embrace that for a minute, you know, or a day or whatever, you know, it takes to be like, what the fuck was that? You know, it's like a lot of people are like, and I used to trip on LSD like that. By the time I got to Amsterdam and you know, was doing music production there, I was taking LSD every day. And then, you know, I had to stop doing it just to get a little something. And then I was taking mushrooms every day in my tea, like John Lennon, you know, like, oh, we just used to put it on tea in the morning, you know. I thought, oh, I'll do that too. And after a while, it's just like, oh, wait, I'm having a nervous breakdown. I'm not allowing myself to take some time to...
No integration.
Right. Integrate the experience, learn from it, see what it is. I mean, it's an amazing thing, whether, you know, you're going to church, you know, on a Sunday, or you're going to a Dead show on a Friday night, or you're just waking up from a dream, you know, and being like, wait a second, give myself a second here. And that's what I think meditation for me is like, almost like it's like a mental hygiene. I actually study with this guy, Kevin Griffin, and he talks about meditation as mental hygiene. Just taking, you know, 20, 30 minutes at the beginning or the end of the day to be like, okay, I'm going to give my brain a break, because it's thinking 84,000 different thoughts.
Oh, man. Yeah. And
It's just what the brain does. The heart beats, the brain thinks, you know, and just sit there and be like, okay, I'm safe. Everything's cool, man. And there's a thing about the Buddha says, somebody asked him one time, like, what did meditation do for you? And I don't know if this is true or not, but it's in one of the suttas, you know, it's like, he says, it doesn't do anything for me. And they were like, what? And he says, but it lets go of fear. It lets go of anxiety. It lets go of the confusion, you know, and it's hard to put like you're saying, when you have these dreams, like if a lot of people are dreaming about confusion and there's a whole confusion happening, well, then of course my dreams are confused because I can't put anything, you know, can't grab onto something solid, you know. But just to have that space to be like, okay, that's what's happening, man. Right. That can kind of ground us and make us feel, you know, okay. I mean, at least it does for me sometimes.
Well, I mean, just paying attention to your thoughts. Like this morning, making coffee. There's a song going on. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do later. You know, I'm chattering about thinking about this thing and that thing. What did I eat? I dropped it, like 10,000 thoughts happening at the same time. And I'm kind of outside of it, watching what's going on, going, you never shut up, man.
that's mindfulness right there. I think a lot of people say, I tell them, I'm, turning on to meditation. And they're like, oh, I can't meditate. I'm like, that right there was meditation. When you say, I can't meditate, you're having a thought about something else, right? Like, and you're aware of that thought.
Right.
I think actually music can help that because it gets you into the flow of like, oh, I'm listening to this music. And you kind of get carried away into that non-conceptual kind of space, you know, and you're like, wow, this is such a great tune. I feel good. And then you're aware of that like good feeling, you know. Most times that awareness comes when it's a horrible thing. You know, somebody in your family dies or you have a horrible car accident or you go to the dentist. I just came from the dentist again.
That must have been traumatic.
I've been in 7 years, and my girlfriend, God bless her heart, Lisa, she made this wonderful peach cobbler the other night, and it was so good that it sucked one of my teeth out. Oh! My tooth, and I was like, oh my God, I just swallowed my tooth. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? And she's like, just calm down. The stomach will digest it, you know. I was like, oh my God, I got to get to the hospital. She's like, dude, you know, she totally calmed me down. So I went to the dentist, and, you know, I'm a little bit of a scaredy cat. I don't really like people with their hands in my mouth and drilling in there, you know.
No
so I was
shit.
like, you know. And this wonderful woman dentist was like, well, you know, she knew. She was like, she's a dentist. She's like, it's not really on the top of people's lists. And I was like, well, now that I got this tooth, I might as well check it out. Turns out I got another one over here, one here, and then, you know, I'm going back next week. But you know, take still self-care there, but
yes.
Yeah, that's
especially with your mouth. And come on, you're a reverend. You use your mouth.
I know, and you know, the same thing happened to me when I broke my wrist years ago. And my blues guru, this guy Hugh Poole, he's got the studio Excello back in New York that we record at, and he's a wonderful player in his own right. I broke my wrist one time, and I came to one of his gigs, and I was like, oh man, I fell down on the ice, man, it's kind of fucked up. And he just looked at me, he's like, the same thing you said. He's like, dude, you're kind of a guitar player, man. You might want to get that fucking checked out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get to the doctor. You know, it's like, I'm a tough guy. You know, I grew up with a military father. Come on, good players play hurt. Get in there, fucking. You don't need a dentist. Let's go. You know.
Well, I do know. I kind of grew up with a mom that was like that, and so it was like, no, if it's not broke, then just keep going. Like you just learn to deal with it. But I work with my hands, and I had to have a wrist surgery last year during COVID, and I had to like prolong the surgery because they stopped. You know, everything stopped. If you don't remember.
Yeah, the world stopped.
The world stopped, remember? But yeah, it was just so crazy because I was battling that too. Like, why haven't I addressed this? Why did I let it get this bad? What am I doing? This is my livelihood. Like, just thinking of all these things and the personal neglect and getting really deep and really shallow about it and like trying to just understand. And just at the end, it was just so good to just, the surgery was complete. It was like the end, all that incessant chatter stopped, and it really did help to just have everything being done, you know?
Yeah, and that's that. In the Buddhism, they have this story of the two darts. You know, there's the physical thing that's happening, the pain or whatever, but then there's the mental chatter that's like the suffering. Why put a second dart? And there's already dart.
Yes, it keeps it going.
Yeah, and it's like until you get the physical thing kind of like, okay, yeah, I can't fix it or I can fix it, then the mental thing doesn't go away, you know, because the mental thing is like, I guess, ancient, you know, survival. Oh my God, what's going on with your hand or something like that. Right. But I totally know what you're talking about. And I keep beating myself up until I read this article about procrastination.
Okay.
You know, it's like, why didn't I get more stuff done? I mean, we're putting out a new album called The Super Mundane Blues, which is more like delving back into that weekend that I thought I was Jesus. You know, we actually put together the trip hop psychedelic mask as the bonus second disc. I'll send you guys a bit of it, but watch out, it might induce an acid flashback. You know? So forewarned, it's gonna have a little not explicit lyrics, but like, you know, be warned, you know, may induce acid flashback. Anyway, the idea of procrastination, and this article was so hip, and I didn't realize what was going on. It's like your brain wants the dopamine. It's like, it doesn't want to have to be like, okay, I'm going to plan for the pandemic and this thing happens, it doesn't happen. Okay, I don't know when it's going to end, you know, all that shit. It doesn't want to deal with it. It wants to go to like, oh, what's the new show on Netflix? Lisa and I have been watching the Crown series, which is the British royalty. Talk about like getting involved with something and all that like pomp and circumstance. It takes your mind away from all this other shit that you like, talk about those dreams of uncertainty. Like, oh, I don't have to think about all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of people don't realize the like gravity of this pandemic thing. It's like people will be like, I could get it. You know, it's like cold, whatever. Yeah, okay, great. But for the people that do get it, it overwhelms the healthcare system. And then for somebody like you, it's like, I can't get my wrist done, which I need to do. It's an elective surgery maybe, but I can't even get in the hospital because of the COVID protocols. There's no doctors because they're all taking care of the COVID patients, right? I mean, that happened to me early on. You know, I'm like I said, you know, my dad's a military guy, so I'm trying to be a little bit of a tough guy, but I'm really just like, you know, softy, hippie kind of guy. But, try to put on that exterior, you know, especially with my girlfriends around. Oh, we can do it. And then I'm like, fuck it, man, let's get the fuck out of here.
Hey, so, I got to ask you a question. Because you're wearing the shirt and what was the thing that got you sober besides being sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Tired, yeah, you know, you're familiar with the program, but
oh yeah.
Let me tell you the story of this shirt first. I was down, this is like 4 summers ago when Dead & Co. first started touring. I was in Atlanta and I was on tour, and I remember not feeling that well. It was like cold was coming on, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the show anyway. And I was sitting there at I was about to say halftime. I was just coming up.
It's halftime.
Right. Intermission, the interlude, as the British people say, the interlude, yes. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching these two guys pass this joint back and forth. And I'm like, you know, at this point I've been sober like, you know, 10 years or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you know, like, fuck. And then I'm like, oh shit, where's the fucking Wharf Rats meeting, man? And of course it was like right after I thought that and said it out loud, Bobby was like, ching, and I was like, oh my God, fucking Sugar Magnolia or whatever it was, you know. And I was like, oh shit, fuck, I missed the Warfare meeting. Like, you know, it's like built-in forgetter, you know, once a stoner, always a stoner. Oh shit, I just missed the fucking, you know, always it was 4/21. It was April 21st. I was like, oh shit, I missed 420 again, dude. There's a fucking parade downtown. Shit, I missed it again, you know. So what happened to me, I mean, in all honesty, I was in New York and I was partying one night. And I was always, you know, I was always a drunk, and I knew it. And so I became, you know, I got on what they call the marijuana maintenance program. And let me preface this story by saying, you know, it's not the pills and bottles and baggies that are the addict. It's me that's the addict. It's whatever's on the fucking table. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. I want to do it all until we get fucking arrested, and then fucking even some more. You know what I mean? That's the kind of guy I am. I have like this crazy self-destructive streak in me. But that self-destructive streak, I have started to learn how to put into my spirituality. It's like the same energy, but like transforming the lemons into lemonade, right? So anyway, we're partying in New York, and I was dating this billionaire girlfriend. You know, her dad was friends with Warren Buffett, you know, and I busted out my suit, you know. I was like, oh, I'm going to all these things, you know, and everything. And one night we're at this really swanky club, but the 2 weeks prior, you know, I had been smoking pot trying to keep it from her, saying, oh, no, I'm not really doing that anymore. And just for a little extra kick, I had gotten these magic mushrooms that were, my drug dealer said they were a little too dried out. He didn't know if they worked. I said, well, let me try them. So I took them and I sprinkled them into each joint that I was rolling. Oh, shit. And I've since realized it's horrible for your lungs because you're actually growing spores in your lung tissue, which is not good. So if you're a fan of mushrooms, do the tea. I did that for years, but I was trying to do a little thing on the sly or whatever. So I would be sitting in a bar, you know, and everything would be green. And I'd be like, tell the bartender, like, wow, the green lighting here is really cool. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no green light. Oh, really? Like, everything looks kind of green. So that was like, for like a few weeks, it was like that. And I was like kind of getting off on it. And I remember this distinctly. I was going to a party at one of these swanky Soho clubs, you know, members only thing or whatever. And, you know, it was like actresses and famous people there and super rich people. And I was like, hey, cool, man. I was just like riding the wave, you know, dating this billionaire chick. And I remember I was out of weed and I thought, oh, I'll get some later. And I thought, you know, had that thought, wow, maybe this will be my last joint. I really will give this up. And it was a movie set that I walked through on the streets of New York. And you've ever been on a movie set where there's this strange spiral thing? And it's like for the cameras to like readjust or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And so I smoked this thing down to the fucking, and then I just put the burning right on the like edge of it. And I was like, all right, that's just for the cosmos, man, you know, a little offering, you know? And I went to this party and I remember counting up to 7 Kettle One martinis, but I probably had a few more after that. Wow. And the next thing I remember, I woke up in a mental hospital.
What?
And the girlfriend came to the mental hospital. I was like, what the fuck happened? She's like, you don't remember? And they had some footage from this club. So apparently we were all partying and her like, not her ex-boyfriend, but her ex-boyfriend's friends were there. Mm-hmm. And I kind of got upset. So I went over to the bar and I started fucking slamming them down and being like, fuck it, fuck that bitch. I'm just going to hang out here, you know, just drink all night. So she tried to come over to talk to me and I said, fuck this, man, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to have to deal with this rich bitch, you know. So I went over to the elevator and there's footage of me waiting for the elevator. And right when it comes and the doors are closing, I pulled the fire alarm and jumped in the elevator. And so the elevator still had time to go down.
Shit.
And I got out and I walked back to her place. And I remember this all came to me like sort of over years. I went to a bodywork woman and she said, you know, you have a hernia and you've really hurt your hip. And I finally got in touch with the memory of I was walking down the New York City streets and I fell off the fucking like curb into the street and banged up my whole thing. Oh, went back to her house. I don't know what happened then. All I know is that the cops arrested me and I was completely naked and all the water faucets were on in her apartment and it was dripping down into these other apartments and cost $30,000 worth of fucking damage. I mean, this was a deep bottom, you know? Whoa. And I woke up in a mental hospital. I was completely naked. You know, I fucking thought I was Lord Shiva. And the cops were like, dude, we can't take this motherfucker downtown. Like, what the fuck? You know, what do you do with a naked dude who's fucking tripping out? Right. I've been smoking mushrooms for 2 weeks. I've been, you know, smoking a tremendous amount of weed like I usually did. I wasn't smoking weed anymore. So I think that was part of it. Like, I didn't have my little, you know, whenever I, you know, was tripping out too much hard. I just smoke a joint. And I had fucking gotten massively drunk, you know? And also I was like spinned off of like jealous with this girl and blah, blah, blah. And she had money. Like shit, you know, so that just sparked everything. And so I went back and the water had gone through these floors and I spent a weekend at the mental hospital and I had the One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest moment. You ever see that movie?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. And he's there and he's been remanded there like I was. Like, dude, you're either going downtown to a jail cell or we're taken to a mental hospital. And of course, I have these like visions when I was on the gurney like, oh my God, I love everybody. And then I'd be like, I fucking hate all you people. Like, holy, talk about the dualism, you know, craziness, you know. So, you know, I really thought I was like Lord Shiva. I was out of my mind. And I'm sitting there in one of these groups because there's nothing else to do. And this guy goes, well, you know, I checked myself in here a couple weeks ago. And I was like, you checked yourself in here? Get the fuck out of here, man. I can't get out of here. I'm arrested. I am looking at a court date. I have $30,000. I didn't know it was $30,000 at the time, but I just destroyed my girlfriend's apartment. I didn't mean to, but I just turned on all the faucets because that's some fucking crazy shit that happens when you have a psychosis, you know? And so I was sitting there one afternoon before they released me, and actually they released me in my mom's custody, and I was just so happy to be free. I remember walking around running around the block at her place up in Connecticut, and God bless my mom. She just kept on letting me sleep on the couch, and hopefully, you know, knock on wood, that was the last time. But before I left, there was one afternoon, nothing was happening, and this guy brought an AA meeting into the mental hospital. Hospitals and institutions, they call it. And he just ran a meeting. And I just sat there. And I thought, dude, you are, what was it? I'm going on 15 years sober, so it was 3906. I was 34 years old, and I thought, dude, what are you doing? You know, this is not working out for you. That was not the first time that I had done something like that, you know?
Right.
I had flipped out and been arrested before and all kinds of fucked up shit, you know, and really had escaped the law a lot. But this time I got pinched, and I just thought, man, I got to do this. And I came slow to the program. Like I said, there was an AA meeting there at the hospital, and I just took slow to it. So anyway, if anybody's out there, you know, and you're suffering under addiction, just lay your hands on the podcast, people. It's going to be all right. There's a lot of people that want a lot of beautiful things happening in this world, and you just got to hang in there and be tough. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. And there was a bunch of people that wanted to help me because they realized the only way to help themselves in that program, to stay sober, was to help another sick and suffering addict.
Right.
And I didn't know that at first. And it just worked out. And now one of the joys of my life is working with these kids here in Colorado that are just smoking dope. And they think, oh, that's just weed. I'm like, dude, this weed is stronger than any fucking like heavy drugs I did back in the day. I mean, the THC level's off the charts, and there's all these other cannabinoids. And it's great if you can take a toke and go to a show and enjoy it or trip on LSD. But if you're waking up the next morning, you know, and smoking all day long, and then it's 2 years that you're doing that every day, and you want to change your lifestyle, I say, hey, man, I can help you do that, you know. And I got cats that are relapsing and cats that are still doing this stuff. But I'm like, hey, man, you know, if you want to get sober, that's one way to do it. You know, I'm not saying that's the only way, but it's the way that's helped me. So, yeah, this is the T-shirt there. You know, for those of you who don't know, I was at that show in Atlanta, and right after I watched these two guys smoke a joint, which was cool, I was like kind of like jealous, like, wow, I wish I could do that again. You know, but I know that that's going to lead to the fucking the weed and then the fucking coke and then the hookers and the fucking jail, you know, and then I'm like, woo, let's do it.
Burn it down.
You know, it's just like, it didn't work out for me, you know, like I was a drug taking machine. So it's just, you know, I beat myself up. But I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. You know, like William Blake, the poet, says, you know, the path of excess leads to the palace of wisdom. But the trick is you got to get to the palace. You know, you could die on the way there.
On the way there, yeah. There's a lot of swamps and false trails and crazy shit. Yeah,
walls and graveyards and jails. You know, they say, you know, I didn't want to get locked up anymore. I didn't want to get covered up. You know, I don't want to fucking die. So I sobered up. You know, and I stay in recovery. And it's been a spiritual conduit for me. You know, a lot of people just go to church or, you know, whatever, you know, I like the phrase of, you know, religion's for those of people that don't want to go to hell. Spirituality is for those of us that have already been through hell.
Yeah, no shit.
So I just keep continuing to trudge that path of happy destiny, as they say. And it you know, the 11th step is prayer and meditation. Now, sometimes I feel like coming out here in Colorado studying Buddhism is a big, huge 11th step, you know, and sometimes I feel like the communities of Buddhism can learn from AA. You know, there's the 5th precept that says, you know, refrain from intoxicants that lead to heedlessness. So a lot of people interpret that as like, oh, I can't drink or drug or do anything. It's like, no, if you can have a glass of wine, that's great. I've seen my dad have a snort of port before he goes to bed and go to sleep. But I saw my mom get fucking stoneball drunk when I was fucking a kid, and me and my sister, you know, would be there, and she'd burn dinner, and then she'd be like, fuck it, we're going to Burger King. And we'd be like, yeah! She'd be like drunk driving us to fucking Burger King. And we'd be like, oh, I'm going to get the double fucking cheeseburger with the bacon on it, you know? So that's what I grew up with.
Wow, man.
That was a pretty colorful picture there.
I got to say, I'm glad you're here with us, man.
Hey, thank you so much.
I appreciate you spending time with us, brother. It's nice to meet another friend.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Great to meet y'all. And yeah, you know, I have to one note. You know the T-shirt you sent me, and I thank you for sending me that T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do another T-shirt exchange with you because, you know, my friend Matt at Lost Sailor, the Dye Works, he's got these tie-dyes that we've done, and I'd love to trade you another shirt because the shirt you guys sent me, it was a wonderful shirt. It's just too small for me, so I sent it to my cousin for his birthday. So I'd love to get another shirt. Maybe we could do an X large this time or an XX large, and I'll send you one of the tie-dyes.
You got it. I will. I'll do it tomorrow. You've got it. What color do you want?
Oh, you guys get different colors.
Yeah, dark blue, gray, burgundy, white, black.
Yeah, the maroon burgundy is my favorite.
Ooh, I think I'm going with the maroon burgundy. That's the Dharma color.
And you want to do double X this time? Or two?
Let's do the double X because then I can grow into it.
Okay, you got it, brother.
That's what I do.
Mel, will you make a note for me?
Yes.
Before we wrap it up here, too, you got the new album coming out. It comes out March 28th.
The 26th. I guess they're
26th?
releasing albums Fridays now. Yeah, I tried to make it as a release date on Easter, but it just didn't work in the calendar. So we're gonna do it that. I guess it's Palm Sunday. I'm like, Christianity's slowly drifting away, but I still kind of play with it. You know, as the
It
Reverend.
is. It's slowly drifting away. You're so right. Nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody even references it. Nobody,
It's not
anything.
involved in politics or anything.
No, like no schools do anything bad anymore. Like there's nothing on the Christianity front. Like
Unless you're in that scene.
exactly, unless you're in that scene. But before you didn't have to be in that scene because
Well, if you want to check out that scene through the lens of a fellow who thought he was Jesus on an LSD weekend, the new album Super Mundane Blues is not only some rock and spirituals on one disc, but it's also a revisiting of my LSD experience that happened 33 years ago, which was how old Jesus was when he died. But I started working on this project 20 years ago in Holland, in The Hague, with a friend of mine, and just kind of finished it up. I had this wonderful shaman woman who did a kind of like an ongoing auto commentary throughout it, and it's a liturgical mass. This piece, and for years I couldn't listen to it because I was like, oh my god, it's really fucking gonna make me trip out. And she put this like poetry over it that softened it in a way that this is like talking like how you were talking, like, oh yeah, there's no Christianity here. And it's like, oh my God, it permeates our whole culture, this Judeo-Christian thing. Mm-hmm. Like whether you are aware of it or not, like this is what's in our heads, you know? And I mean, Naropa here is like one of 2 Buddhist universities in the country, you know, and you go down south, I mean, there's a dime a dozen down there. And I have to say, you know, nothing wrong with JC and the boys, man. I mean,
Jesus is all right with me.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Jesus is just.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's just all right. Rev, love you, brother. Thank you, man. Stay well.
Thank you. And, I look forward to getting the shirt, and I'll send you one, and then I'll send you the new album too that's coming out too. And
thanks.
Yeah,
man.
just a pleasure being with you. Thank you, letting me talk at you. And
Oh, we look
Yeah.
forward to talking again and stuff. This was great.
yeah, you are based. Is it in Portland, in Oregon, up there?
Yeah, we're in Portland, Oregon.
Well, as soon as I'll get back on the West Coast, I'm gonna come up and hang out with y'all.
You got it. You got a place to crash.
We always tell everybody you got a place here. We loved it, especially when bands or somebody's on the road. Just to come to your laundry, home cooked meal, place to rest your head, other than a hotel or a bus.
Wow,
we love to have company.
Be careful, I'm gonna take you up on that.
Do it.
We would love it, man.
Darwin said you can hang out with him. It's all good.
Yeah, I know. All right, God bless y'all, and take it easy.
right.
And
Take care, my
All
friend.
right, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Rev.
yes, be well. Happy Sunday, people.
Happy
Peace.
Sunday.
Much love.
See, big balls, man. Can't you hear me when I call? Yeah, big balls, man. Can't you hear me when I call? Well, you ain't so big. You just talk that about all. Yeah, well, you gonna be working, boss man, working around the clock. Go for a drink of water, but you sure won't let me stop. Yeah, big boss man. Can't you hear me when I call? Hey. Well, you ain't so big. You just talk, that's just about all. Yeah. dog does it just about all.
Whoa. True to his name.
That was pretty awesome.
My man is
He can
true to
go.
his name.
I love how the background, it looked the way
like
the
his head
tie-dye-
was blowing up.
It looked like steam coming out of his ears, and then the red thing was like just
It
like
reminded me of what's that Grateful the Grateful Dead skeleton riding the motorcycle and he's
Uncle
got,
Sam.
Yeah,
yeah,
is that Uncle
yeah, with
Sam?
the hair
Yes.
when the hair
Yes.
is all just poof.
I wasn't sure if it was Uncle Sam or not.
The Rev is shot out of a cannon and ready to roll.
He's
Yeah.
high energy because of his practice.
It's really cool, man. It's cool to see. And what?
Yeah, it was very inspirational to me. It made me feel it rekindled like a little flame in me.
A little flame?
A little baby flame.
Little baby.
Yep.
little
It's not a
thing.
big one. Doesn't need to be big.
There's so much more about it. I had several questions, but I mean that went that like he went on. It was
I felt
curious.
like we weren't talking for that long. How long was it?
Hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
that went long. I wanted to ask.
Whoa.
He did a pilgrimage years ago to follow the life of Buddha, like where Buddha was born, all the way up to the death and everything. And he got a degree back in Massachusetts in
A
religion.
BS.
And yeah, I like.
Yeah.
that was fun, man. That is a very cool cat right there. Right?
Yeah.
It's cool to see like when anybody makes it out alive and then turning that thing into their superpower. That's dope. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and he did turn into a superpower.
All right. Well, everybody.
And that was amazing. I just got to mention before we go here too. That was started out the interview. It was sunny and nice out, like it is now. It turned apocalyptic. Like
Oh my god.
It was insane. I tried to
pitch
just talk
black.
through it.
It
pitch
was-
black with hail, and it shook the house, and then back
Sunshine.
to sunny. And yeah,
Welcome
that's-
to Portland.
That was really strange.
It shook the
if
house.
If we were like on a walk and walked through that,
you'd have to hide under something.
Yeah.
And that thunder would have scared the shit out of you. Would have been like, holy fuck, what was that?
I just
That
shit
was
my
crazy.
pants.
Anyway, that's the weather in Portland.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody out there, take care of each other. We'll be back next week with more stuff and
Yep.
things. And smile at a stranger. And
Do it.
you have to smize because you're wearing a mask.
really enhance your eye smile
Yep.
when you do that.
Yeah,
Get your eye game on
brace
point.
your
Yep.
inner self. Don't smoke mushrooms.
Don't
No,
smoke
don't do
mushrooms.
that.
Do not do that.
That's a bad idea. It's going to have a bad time.
Drink plenty of water.
Wash your hands because that's just good hygiene.
Under the nails too.
You got it. Dude, buy
That
a little
should just
brush.
be all the time. It's like people say that like during COVID. It's like, dude, it's like
Or keep
you
your
weren't
nails
doing that
short.
before,
You
you're
weren't
gross.
washing your fucking hands? What? What's wrong with you? We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Take care of each other. Peace.
Like twist and turn, the mission turn, and it's a journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hell of me has been the earth. And alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? One simple road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Yes, rock everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.